What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Drinks with Johnny. Here today, I am so stoked. An old friend, a guy who's been around with us for so many years. Man, you've been around since before I was around, man. This is incredible. We got the awesome, legendary Brandan Schieppati of Bleeding Through here today in fucking our own backyard where we grew up together doing this shit.
Things kind of don't change. You know what I mean?
It's so good to have you here, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for finally having me on. It's
Dude,
awesome.
I know, you say finally, it's so good. Like, I should have done this so long ago, reached out, but I'm glad we waited until I hit the stride on this. And let's go to that real quick. I mean, it was just in December. You and I ran into each other for the first time in a long time,
man.
And yeah, we were out at Jose Mangan's spot for Bad Wolves acoustic.
Yeah.
Doc Coyle, another good friend, from God Forbid, taking it all back to those days, right?
That's why I love those events, though, man. Like, I mean, shout out to Jose right away, but he's just like such like the ringleader of like the tormentors of metal, I guess, you know. But it's like his events.
The metal ambassador.
Yeah, he really is, and really, it's like his events are so cool because every time we go, it's like you run into like old faces that you don't see all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, and that's just, it makes you kind of feel very thankful that you still can like pick up where you left off, but it also scares the fuck out of you because it's like, I felt like I was just on Ozzfest in 2006 and then they snapped my fingers and we're sitting right here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, where'd my hair go?
This granite was actually taken from that bus, by the way.
Was it really?
No, fuck that. That would be awesome, though. How cool would that be if I just fucking dropped that on you?
That'd be really
No, this is a little bit nicer than that.
Yeah,
granite.
this is nice. But yeah, dude, like, it's
but
just...
where did my hair go? Come on.
But it's one of those things, like, you know, I just love that it's the true bond of, like, friendship and like, where we come from.
Yeah.
Where, man... How crazy is it? Like just the Orange County bands in this area from around that time that have done so much. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy to think about it.
That whole, we'll get into that whole scene for everybody at home. I kind of wanted to maybe Tarantino it, jump around a little bit on the timelines here because there's so much. I mean, once you and I get rolling, it's going to be
9 hours.
It's just going to go off. So. And off in every direction, if I can fucking talk. I need a drink here in a second, that's what the problem is. But yeah, after we get going here a little bit, I would like to get back to those origin stories, of course, for those at home. But real quick though, let's start with what Bleeding Through and what you're up to today, right? I mean, I know 2024 is going to be a big year for you guys. You got a new album coming out, first one since 2018. Very exciting stuff, guys. You got tours coming up. You got some shows up in the Northwest here, which I loved your post about it the other day because you were like, this is so much history, and all I kept thinking about is like the tours back in the days that we would do in the clubs going up there and shit. And it's like,
how gothic were those clubs?
Oh my God.
Like it was like Seattle was just like wet, cold, and everybody wearing black.
Dude, everywhere it just felt
awesome.
Black. The light, there's barely any stage lighting.
Yeah, no, man, it was crazy.
Like it was just dark there.
It's awesome.
Like what's the name of that venue?
Corazon.
That's the one. Yeah, dude, so much fun going back and like I'm excited to go down memory lane with you a little bit here. But again, let's focus on 2024.
Yeah, so
you got some shit coming up.
We have a lot of stuff coming up as far as like shows wise. Like we kind of don't do your conventional like month-long tour. None of us can really do that, and like because we all have like other things in our personal life that kind of keep us from being able to take those like really big times away. Like I have my gym and Marta has her bar, and like everyone just has things going on, so it's like really tough. So we schedule out as much as we can, and luckily it's like one of those things where if there really truly is something that I feel we accomplished, it's the ability to get to the point where we are now where we literally just play on weekends.
That's rad.
Honestly, to get to that level of just being like, you know what, I feel like going to Portland and Seattle would be pretty fucking awesome, let's go. And not have to schedule like a whole tour. And I know whole tours are awesome and it kind of seems like we're like cheating or whatever, but I don't know, man, like we spent a lot of years on the road, and I feel like the fact that we're here is very great.
You've more than paid your dues about being out on the road, let's face it.
We have that coming up, some more stuff in the States, and then we're gonna do Japan, Australia. We're playing Headbanger's Boat.
I saw that.
Which is gonna be freaking awesome. Like, dude, we're playing a cruise. Like we're playing,
have you done one of those yet?
No, have you?
No. I've talked to a lot of people on this show though, and like everyone had glaring. Everyone I've talked to said it's awesome. Right? And I guess like my first question every time is about the Punishers. I'm like, how bad is it? Like, because you got to have a space to go. And
you know what?
They're like, I guess the clientele that's going there is fucking chill. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a Punisher. The best thing to do to Punishers is just punish them.
Oh, you get them back.
Oh, so where are you guys going? Can I come?
And then they get awkward.
And then they dislike the person they tried to like punish. It's great. You just switch it around on them. If you're bored.
So you're the definition of don't meet your heroes.
Yeah. Like don't punish me because I'll punish you worse. But yeah, we're doing that. We're going to the UK for a show. We have some stuff, but really the thing
the UK show is a festival too, right? Yeah. It's with the
Cradle of Filth.
Cradle of Filth was the one
and
that's
Nails.
Yeah,
it's really
that's
cool.
Fucking
really
sick.
Cool. Really cool. And then we're doing a new record.
Yeah,
and that's really that makes me really happy.
Are you guys in the mix of it? Because I know you released the single last year.
Yeah,
with the re-recording.
We did the re-records. We did Wartime, and then this one currently we're about 10 songs into the songs. I haven't really started with vocals yet. We've just been worrying about like putting the songs together. But I mean, I know it's like you just say it's your best, but it really is. I think we got better as a band. And I think a lot of the older bands are just getting better. Like, I feel like you guys get better every record.
Thank you.
And except for that one, no, I'm just joking. But like,
the one that I had more to do with.
No, I truly believe that like, the more you're in it, I feel like the less you give a fuck about anything else, and the more you can kind of relax and just write truly what you want to fucking write. And when it's genuinely you, that's when your best shit comes out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're
blocking
totally
out all noise. And, I think our new record, I want it to be just a dark, vibed, kind of scary, very emotional record. Yeah. And I feel like it's going to be that, like just based off of the songs that we have written so far. And I feel like my band and our producer, Aaron, like really have a really good thing going right now. And so I'm stoked. Like it feels more natural and more kind of like it just flows better right now with us. Right. And it's like we have so much fun playing, you know what I mean? So much fun playing shows, and I just think that it's going to come through on this record.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear some more shit, because honestly, like it's been a while since and I like that you're talking about the how it feels right now for you guys. You guys all have other things going on too as well. You've gotten to this point. You get to a certain age. I think maybe what you're describing a little bit is like at a certain point y'all seem to drop the ego, like everybody does. I mean, we've done it in our band too. It has nothing. And like when you do that, you're more open, more honest with one another. It's almost therapeutic the first few times, and then it just becomes fun.
Like, I don't even care how many people are at our shows. It's cool.
You're doing it. You're doing the weekend.
We appreciate every motherfucker there, but it's like numbers and whatever. That doesn't even matter.
No.
We do what we do, and we've had this very weird career where like we hit like we've had highs, we've had lows, but then we kind of like went into our groove, and we have just been in the same groove. It's like, I think locally maybe it's like coming up a little bit more, but it's like, dude, we're just in this comfortable groove.
Yeah.
It just feels good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude.
We know how many people are going to be at our show in Seattle and Portland. You know what I mean?
Hopefully a few more after this episode.
I mean, hopefully more. Go to the show. Buy your tickets.
Real quick, that's at the end of March, right?
Yeah.
All right, so at the end of March, everybody.
But it's just like,
tickets.
We know the people that are going to be at our shows are going to be so pumped, and that makes us pumped. And then we have fun just hanging out together and still being blessed enough to do this. You know what I mean? And I feel like we took it so I took it so serious for so long. And it ruined it for me for a lot of years. It really fucking did. And I'm glad that I've come down to this spot where it is just truly about the creation and the relationship that I have with the people in my band. And that means so fucking much to me. It really does. Like going to rehearsal last night, I'm like, dude, I've been doing this with some of these people for like 20 fucking 4 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, more than half your life.
Yeah.
And like when you think about that, like I'm so glad
God, this conversation's aging
we just
us
went
so bad.
straight into it.
We are old now.
We're gonna call this one. It's Heckle and Jekyll in the top of the Muppets thing, whatever the fuck those guys' names are. But no, I'm glad that you're talking about it. It doesn't have to show the age part of it. It's just. It's really interesting that you're going through that as well, or have gone through it as well, because I think we all do, and I mean that for people at home too. It's not just because of our profession or anything like that. It's your relationships. You start thinking about what's really important to you, right?
For real.
And your music's going to live on in infamy long after you're gone. The music will still be there.
About music.
But what you have is creating it with other people, and those are all we get is these moments while we're here on this rock.
Yeah,
that's like all we get. So it's like. You start to, when you really conceptualize that idea that this is everything that I'm ever going to know, you really appreciate those things so much more, right?
And it's like we because we're so much stronger together, we have more of an appreciation for like our fans. Like we truly do like see them.
That absolutely.
We truly are so appreciative, and like we see them as family. Like and when we play, I just want it to be like this freeing experience for them. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to feel like how we feel on that fucking stage. Like, how do we get them to just feel it?
Everybody
you know what I mean?
in the room is together. It's one thing. It's kind of what you want, like, the world to be like sometimes. But, you know, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen while we're around.
Probably not. But at least we could try to get harmony during our shows.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny, we're talking about harmony at our shows when we started out talking about how gothic those ones were.
Gothic harmonies.
Dude, I'm so excited about all of those things. And you mentioned your gym. I mentioned Marta's bar.
Yeah, the back lounge.
The back lounge up in Dublin.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet. Have you been there?
I have not been there since she took it over, but I heard it's really cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
I went there once.
Phil's been around a few times since he's been coming down and doing some work here. And,
that's cool.
Been playing some golf with him and stuff. So Phil's a good dude. Shout out to the bar.
Yeah, so I have that going on with Bleeding Through, and then Rise Above Fitness is my daily.
Yeah. Just down the street here.
Yeah, just down the street from your house. I've had the gym for almost 13 years now.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I remember when you were getting into this stuff, but like that was, fuck.
13 years.
Wow.
See? It feels like that. It's fucking crazy.
It's so funny. And you mentioned like when we were talking about when we met up in December too, like how it just, I was like, at first I looked, it was a, Brandon.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was literally, I was like, oh shit. And we gave each other a hug and it was like right back to, like you said, like we hadn't missed a beat, which is fucking,
it's fucking
incredible.
Awesome. But yeah, that's my daily. Very proud to still be having it after 13 years. I really love training people, and I really love helping people achieve what they don't think is possible. Mm-hmm. I think that is the reason why I started doing it. I felt that it was like almost like I could build a culture within it. When I started doing the fitness thing and I opened the gym, there wasn't like gyms. Nobody looked like me in fitness, and now it's like I am. Well, I don't have any tattoos compared to some of these dudes now. But I remember going to like conventions back in the day, and I was like the tattooed guy in the fitness world, and it was weird. But you
trendsetter is what he's trying to say.
What I'm saying is I started all of this. So yeah, the GOAT. You know what I mean? Fuck. No, but it's come a long way. I've gotten an opportunity just to work with a lot of like athletes, and high school football I was really involved with for a while, and that was really awesome, and I just love doing it. Yeah. I love having a space that is very non-judgy, and it's like you walk into my gym and it's like we're listening to like Cannibal Corpse sometimes, but like not like. Hold on. That sounds like the craziest place in the world.
You just walk in, there's a bunch of metalheads doing fucking windmills.
We do net trading like this. So, but I'm just saying, it's like that will come on at my gym.
Yeah.
But I'm training like a 72-year-old man.
And does he ask questions about the music?
This is cool. And it's like they get into like the vibe, and I train people of all ages, all wants, all needs, whatever. And it's so great to like, the contrast in that gym is so great because it really does make a cool community. And that's why I feel like we've been around for so long.
Yeah.
Because this business is the dumbest, hardest business I could have ever opened. But it's like, you gotta love it. You gotta like legit love it. And I fucking love it.
Yeah. Do you, on that note, when you're talking about 72-year-old men, kids, everything like that, How often are they figuring out what your past was, being the lead singer, Bleeding Through?
When I first started doing it, most of the people that would hit me up about training knew about Bleeding Through.
Okay.
So it did help me in the regard of like kind of springboarding the fitness thing. But now it's like, honestly, 1 out of every 10 people knows about Bleeding Through. And then when it comes up, I don't like automatically be like, first session, like, so I sing in this band and it's Bleeding Through. I don't go straight into it, but it usually takes like a few weeks, and people will like look me up on Instagram and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, and they like look up the band and they're just like, this can't be the same person, right? I'm not the most like intense person as a trainer. I'm very like, I'm good, I'm very attentive, but I'm not like one of these like get in your face and
drill
fucking,
sergeant.
that's so dumb.
No. No one wants that.
You're doing it for yourself if you're doing that. You know what I mean?
No, it's not helping anybody.
So like,
in fact, that probably like deters people, right?
Bummer.
It's like even if you did it at boot camp for like 6 weeks or something like that, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Then you stop working out for a while, right? Because you didn't actually have fun doing it.
Yeah. So it throws people back. It throws people like for a loop when they find out that like Bleeding Through is like my other life.
That's pretty awesome, though.
But it's kind of cool.
Yeah, man. So real quick, before we started rolling on everything, we were talking about your gym, where it's located, everything like that. And we were talking a little bit of wrestling because the Ultimate Warrior famously did an episode with Asking Alexandria of his show that he was running back
The
in
Warrior
the
Show.
The
they tried to do the Warrior Show.
A Warriors, whatever it was called. I had Danny on the show. We were talking about it, and he gave me some backstories on it and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm watching this thing just fucking laughing my ass off, by the way. I'm like, this guy is awesome. Like, just so intense, so rad. What was your involvement in that?
So, first off, Ultimate Warrior was my shit.
Yeah.
Like, I cried when he like lost matches, like when I was like fucking 12 years old, like a little fucking wuss, right? But like, dude, the Ultimate Warrior was like my shit. And
Wait. Let's get into a little bit of the WWF lore there real quick before you go into your story here.
Okay, because
I need to pour a drink before that.
Yeah, let's do a drink.
But before I even pour a drink, you said you were crying when Ultimate Warrior would lose, right?
Yeah.
But Hulkamania was running wild as well, and then they had the match together at WrestleMania. What was that, like 8 maybe?
Was it WrestleMania or was it SummerSlam?
It was one of the two. Someone in the comments fact check.
Yeah, I need to fact check. I want to say the Hulk Hogan.
If only I had a device. If only I had a device that could tell me when that was.
Only if there was like this website that you could type a question and get some to
Warrior
v. It's SummerSlam. Because remember SummerSlam was kind of the shit for a second.
Oh, I still love SummerSlam. It was Ultimate Warrior Rivalry. That's just going on. It was WrestleMania 91.
Okay.
So whichever one that would have been. Actually, that would have only been. 8.
Okay.
I think I did the math right there. Tell me if I did.
Shit.
But yeah, so my question is, who'd you side with during that?
Oh, I mean, Warrior.
Warrior the whole time?
Yeah, Warrior.
Okay.
I was never a big Hulk Hogan fan.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just was never really into it. I liked Macho Man Randy Savage.
Same.
I liked the Ultimate Warrior. I liked.
What about when there were the superpowers?
I mean, that shit was awesome as fuck. But like, I liked random dudes too, like, kind of like
Repo Man was my shit.
Like Coco Beware.
Coco Beware was the song he came.
Like, dude, if you look back and you're just like, dude, this dude's character is great.
Him and the late great Owen Hart together
like,
too.
Obscure ones right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like Brutus the Barber Beefcake was the coolest villain.
Yeah.
Like I cut hair. Like, you know what I mean?
The gimmicks of the 80s and early 90s were so good. They were so good.
Dude, yeah, man.
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, we were kids, but it's amazing.
Dude, it was so good.
And that was when it was very, like, first becoming pop culture, I feel like. I mean, wrestling had already been big, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like when Vince, I don't even know if we should say his name right now, but when, when he was taking everything nationwide.
Yeah.
Put it that way. When he was taking everything nationwide in the 80s, like, That was Hulkamania. That was Warrior. That was Macho Man. That was The Undertaker a little bit later on. Ted DiBiase, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You know, like
I like Hacksaw too.
Dude, he's such a good dude. Have you ever met him?
I've never met him. No.
He is one of the nicest and funniest guys you'll ever meet. He's
That's
just
awesome.
like he's. We had him on the show. We had a driver drive us around in my car. We did a episode in a car.
That's amazing.
A random reason. Because when I just started doing this podcast, and they were
amazing.
like, and his manager's like, what if we got in a car and you guys just did like a drive around the block a few times and had the conversation?
That's
I was
fucking
like,
funny.
I think I could do that.
I can manage that.
Anyways, to tell the story real quick, he's back. Our driver's backing up and Hacksaw's in the back seat and he just pounds the side of the door and goes, "Oh, what'd you hit?" And like the driver,
Oh
this
my
poor
God.
driver's like, "Oh." Because I mean, it's a bit. I mean, Hacksaw is, he's not the largest man he was then. But
Yeah.
he's still big dude.
Yeah.
Big paws on the man.
Dude, you have to still be big, even if you're fucking old, man. Those dudes were massive back then.
Yeah, different.
That's
size.
crazy. Different breed.
Yeah, but before before we get into Warrior here, real quick, I need to pour myself a drink because I want to hear what stories you got from that. You want?
Sure.
Okay, so
Why not?
you want a beer or a seltzer?
I'll do a beer.
All right, I'll get you this beer first, and then I'll pour myself a seltzer. So, going back to it, we're talking about Ultimate Warrior being at your gym, filming these episodes where he's got different bands or different artists coming through, and he's going to train them. And his style of training is.
Oh my God.
If you haven't seen this episode or any of these Warrior episodes that we're talking about, I don't want to deter you guys to go to it right now, but maybe when you're done with this episode or come back.
It's one of these things where like, yeah. Do you want to hear like how he reached out to me?
Oh yeah, let's start from the beginning, dude.
Okay.
This is pouring a little heady right now, so give me
fine.
a second anyway.
So I'm flying to London to go see the Chicago Bears play.
Was it a private jet, dude?
So anyway, I'm flying to London to go see the Chicago Bears play, and I get there and I check my BlackBerry because internationally it was BlackBerry.
Dude.
Got international roaming, back in the Stone Ages. And I get an email and it just says Warrior, and I'm like, what the? And it said your gym, and I'm like, what is this, right? So I open it and it says, "Hey Brandon, Warrior here, formerly known as the Ultimate Warrior," and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on, right? I'm like, someone's fucking with me, right? So I'm like reading it and he's talking about how he has this idea for this show and he wants to like have like bands and actors and other wrestlers.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, sorry.
Yeah. I just didn't want to interrupt your thing.
He wants to have like stuff like that, and he wants to like wake them up early and teach them the ways of like hard work and how important the gym is and physical fitness for like longevity and like entertainment, basically, right?
Mm-hmm. Which is by the way,
that's
a
a great idea.
Yeah.
And it's like, the thing was, I'll go into why I think it failed, but it was like one of that things. So he's telling me about this and he says, "I follow your gym on Facebook and I really like what you're doing." And oddly enough, Ash Advelson is going to be the producer of this show. And then I find out that he also books your band. So it naturally feels, okay, we're here. So he wanted to book a couple like shoots there. So I'm like, I wrote him back. I was like, what the fuck do I even like say?
Right.
I just wrote back. I'm like, amazing to meet you. Like, I'm 100% into whatever you need. So we went back and forth with some more emails. And first it was like, he wanted me to help him with like the programming, like the workout programming for these like bands. And I'm like, sure. So I like work out these programs to where it would like be very easy, but also very hard for these bands. Cause these bands like, come on, like, no. So
they didn't work out like we used to back in the van.
No. So
they didn't have the weights that we had in the trailer. True story.
True.
We had both of our bands had weights in the trailers.
We had a
pulled
good
out.
setup on tour. So like, so finally I'm like, okay, we set it on the date, and first day we go through like a meetup date and kind of go through like how we're gonna shoot it and this and that. And he's like he's pretty intense, but like in like a weird, quiet, sit back in the room, I'm gonna kill you type of intense.
Oh, like a serial killer.
Like a serial killer, yeah. So like, and I'm like, dude, this dude's, but he's very like nice.
Yeah.
Brandon, thank you so much. Like, thank you so much for letting us use your gym, this and that, like blah, 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 blah. And then it's like kind of peels back into the back a little bit. And I'm like, fuck, man, this dude's like really like, he's either like harvesting something or he's like really just like very balanced in how he delivers, right?
Right.
And so we're going over all this stuff, and we spent all this time going over like what we're gonna do for the show. Fast forward. I'll just fast forward because really the in between that doesn't even really matter. But fast forward, the show's happening, we're filming. All of the stuff we worked on just immediately thrown out the window. This dude, when the fucking camera turned on, I've never seen anybody in my fucking life turn into like a complete different human being.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy fucking shit.
That's what Danny said too. Danny
and if
said
you
like when the camera's up, it
see the
wasn't
video, when you go watch this video, that was first take shit.
Yeah.
He just, cameras on, and he was just like, 53 years. And I'm just like, oh my fuck, this is the fucking Ultimate Warrior in my fucking gym, like doing his fucking thing.
So cool.
And I'm like, he's scaring the fuck out of these kids.
Of course he is. Because he's a fucking massive man, too.
First it was Icy Stars, man, and they were so fucking young at the time. Yeah. They were so fucking young. And I'm looking at these kids and I'm like, oh my God, like he is.
They probably didn't even know who the fuck he was.
They didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
They did it because Ash told them to. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
And I was just like, oh my God. So I'm glad I didn't really need to help. I was just there to kind of monitor and set things up and stuff like that, because just stepping back and watching the fucking chaos that just came out of this guy, I was just like, oh my God, like this is brilliant.
Yeah.
I get it now. And I had such a deeper respect for already having a huge respect for wrestling. The fact that he chose Rise Above Fitness, like my fucking, out of all the fucking gyms to do this at, like what? Like that's crazy. And yeah, so we wrapped with all that kind of stuff. I think the dudes in Asking were like super drunk when they were there. Yeah. One of them had a bottle of wine with him.
Danny.
Yeah.
Danny was the one that showed
Yeah.
it. We talked about this on the episode. You can go back and watch it. But yeah, he was, and I was like, how much of it, because I was asking him, I'm like, how much of that was shoot and how much of it were you placing shit in?
I think they were fucking legit fucked up. Right?
I wouldn't surprise me. We've known those guys forever.
Yeah. And I remember like watching him come in the gym with it. I'm like, fuck, is he really gonna, I'm like, fuck, that's like, he's gonna lose his mind on that.
Yeah.
I'm like, but it gave him like ammunition for that episode.
It made for a great episode.
It was a fucking great episode. But yeah, so I'll go through my warrior stories. Let's just get this. Let's get this.
Let's
done.
fucking. Wait.
Let's go.
I'm gonna add
shit.
a little something to my seltzer here.
It's
This is how you do a crossfade in a
really
pint
nice.
glass.
I don't even like IPAs. That's really good.
That's the Four Sons Drinks with Johnny IPA. And then this is the Four Sons Seltzer, and then I add a little bit of THC to the seltzer, and now you got yourself a nice little crossfade.
Okay.
But let's not teach the kids how to do that.
And then you add this shit, and then you add just a drop of this thing from this vial.
Yeah.
Okay, fucking whatever.
This is actually delicious because it's a watermelon seltzer that they make. It's not. I made a seltzer with them too, but this one is not that. But you add like a lemonade strawberry THC that you can get at the dispensary to it, and it's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. Anyways, back to the Ultimate Warrior.
Nothing fucking matters. So 2 days of chaos with this dude, right? And I'm just like blown away. And at the end of it, it's like as soon as they wrapped, it's like it just went boom, and he just went back down to earth. And he comes up to me and he goes, "We really haven't had much time to talk." And I'm like, "Well, we kind of did, like doing production shit." And he's like, and he's just like, other than like working on stuff. And he's like, "I'm sorry about just not really following anything. I just kind of went on my own thing." I'm like, "Dude, that was genius. I fucking love it." And
A warrior's burp. A warrior's burp.
Warrior's ale.
That's going to be our next line. We're going to go warrior's ale. In homage.
For real. So he goes, Brandon, like, I know you're a fan. Like, let's talk. What do you want to know? And I'm like, dude, what do I want to know?
Oh, yeah. How much time you got, buddy?
I'm like, dude. So I learned a lot about him as the man and how much struggle they went through. He was like, dude, like, I lived in my car for like a year. Yeah. And he was like, I would sleep with women because I needed a bed to sleep in that night. Like, I would eat cans of tuna. You know what I mean? Like, they were bottom level, you know?
Right.
And so kind of learning about like his thing. He owned a gym in New Mexico for a while. A couple gyms out there. And we talked about just his journey and stuff. And he was very like humble. But then I got to the whole like, all right, dude, like, how did you start running out to the ring?
Yeah.
So some of the stuff I'm going to say, some of the stuff is like pretty like rated R in this.
Hey,
whatever. It's fucking. This is real life, and this is a story that he told me.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what WrestleMania it was, but it was the one where they came out in the carts. Not WrestleMania 1, was it?
They did it at 1 and 2, I believe.
Maybe it was 2 because I don't think Ultimate Warrior was in WrestleMania 1.
He wasn't in 1 or 2, actually. No, I mean, he might have been in 2.
It was maybe some event. He said it was some event where they had carts going out to the.
They've done it a few times. Okay. I know what you're talking about. Like, you can go back.
It was some event where they were doing the carts, and he's like telling the story. And he's like, like I'm in my backstage room, and I'm just kind of like getting my thing. There's like fans and stuff, but just didn't really come into my own yet. And he's like, we're playing cards, we're doing a bunch of fucking blow, and I'm like, and he just goes off. And he's like, everybody did so many drugs. I can't believe there wasn't heart attacks. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, I'm looking at dudes. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. So. But like, he's just like, yeah, we're getting ready for the show, right? And I'm like, cool. And he's all, then I hear Vince go, Warrior, get in the fucking cart, get the fuck out on the stage. And he's like, I was just so fucking mad that I just walked out and I looked at the cart and I looked at Vince and I go, I'm not getting in that fucking cart. And Vince goes, Warrior, you get in that fucking cart, you're fucking done. And Warrior goes, I'm not getting in that fucking cart. I'm gonna fucking run to the stage. And he took off, he booked, and he ran to the stage. Midway through, the lights got him and started following him. And I guess the crowd just erupted. Yeah. And then he went up on the stage and did the fucking rope shake and did his fucking thing, and the crowd was just erupting. He hadn't done that shit yet. And goes back after the match and Vince goes, you're running every fucking time. Yeah. We'll get a song for it. You're gonna have your own song. You're gonna have all that shit. And that's how it kind of became.
That's cool.
Because I'm like, how did you start running out to the ring?
Because no one else was doing that.
No, and he's like, I didn't want to go in the cart.
That was it.
So I fucking ran.
That's so rad.
So that was the coolest thing. That was like the coolest thing. And that's exactly what I want to know. But great opportunity. It was, it sucked when he, passed.
Right.
I have in my gym like a cool, like signed, like Warrior poster. I have photos somewhere of us.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Well, if you got any of those photos, send them over.
Yeah, I will.
In there and
I will.
Get on that thing.
Yeah.
It's got to be so cool to like. It's so funny, right? Because you have this career with Bleeding Through. You toured, numerous times, whole life, but and you've met some pretty cool people along the way. But it's not until you get to the gym that you meet the Ultimate Warrior who used to cry when he was
real,
fucking
dude.
lose.
Like I was like emotionally invested in the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, and like to have, and it's just. That's really cool to me. I don't know for you, but if I was in your shoes, it would almost feel, I don't know, better is the right word, but it would feel, I don't know, just you have a different feeling having it come from your gym, that connection, rather than your band.
Totally. Because it would have been more expected from the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still one of these people that like when stuff happens for me through the gym, like I'm kind of like, whoa, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bands come through all the time on tour and want to work out there because it's like kind of known as like, heavy music, heavy lifting. You know what I mean? It's cool. And I don't know. It's cool. It's funny. It's crazy though. There are bands that go through that have no idea I'm in Bleeding Through.
Really? And they just know it as
they just follow Rise Above Fitness.
That's pretty cool.
It's kind of weird.
That's weird, but cool. Like again, like it's
not that we were like
you've created this own
that's what's
thing
cool
off
about
of its own merit.
That's what's cool about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said,
So
like
it's a
maybe
sense of accomplishment. I think that's what I was trying to go for before.
I've just picked the hardest 2 industries to work in.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna be a musician and fucking do this thing, which is, it's like, listen, being a musician and being able to tour and having a life around it is so fucking amazing, but it is the hardest motherfucking thing, I think. And then gym is probably like
I was like, I mean, it's all to succeed. Yes,
to succeed. Yes. To get to a point.
To get to a point, for sure.
Very hard. But yeah. Fuck.
So wait. Specifically on this heavy lifting studio you got going on, what is heavy lifting, heavy music? What are some of the workouts that you base things?
Dude, the thing is like, if you look at it aesthetically, you're gonna be like, oh, it's kind of like CrossFit-ish stuff because it's like in a warehouse. I'm like, but it isn't. Like, my background is Poliquin, which is like metabolic circuit training, tempo, a lot of strength and conditioning stuff. So like, I kind of throw all the stuff that I like I like functional workouts, but I also like going into the gym and doing like cable machines. I like isolation movements.
You like mixing it up.
I mix it up for my people, and I train everybody athletically because I think it's truly important to like go through life feeling like you could just like at any moment run fucking 100 yards and be totally fine.
Right.
I don't know why that's important to me, but I feel like everybody should have the ability to do that. That means like you're mobile, you're alive. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people fucking struggle just getting the fuck out of bed. You know what I mean? And their body's like, dude, you don't want to
certain
be
mornings.
Like
certain mornings.
Depends what happened the night before. But you know, there's like my thing is having people be happy with how they look, but also having people be happy with how they start feeling.
Yeah.
And as I get older, my clientele also gets older, and it's, you know, longevity becomes more of like importance. You know what I mean? This is all the boring stuff.
No. There's people out there who definitely want
to
hear
But it's important. The thing is,
I do think it's important. I think it's good for everyone to hear that.
What I'm trying to say is like, you just gotta move. Yeah. Like, it doesn't need to be something crazy. Find something that is movement every day. Like, it could be like, you know, people are always like, what do you think about Peloton? I'm like, I think it's fucking great if people are moving. What do you think about CrossFit? I think it's great as long as people are fucking moving, man. Like, we gotta move. Like,
it's true. You gotta. I mean, and you see that. You know, at a certain point in your life, you start to look at those things, and you kind of wish you looked at them a little bit sooner. Because like,
totally.
I mean, like you said, it's all about function, right? Yeah. And I agree with you. Like I'm not the epitome of health. You know, look around here, but you know, I try to take care of myself generally because you know you hear things like, I heard a statistic. I don't know how real it is. I think it seems pretty logical though. Like one of the main killers of people after they get to a certain age is just falling because they don't have any grip strength and they can't grab anything. It's not even that they're falling and then they just can't like fucking handle it. It's like, no, they went to grab something and their hands fell because they have no grip strength whatsoever. Yeah. And it's like, there's little things like that, you know, not saying go crazy and fucking do fucking all the craziest workouts, but work on like a little bit of something, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think that's important because they got to keep people going. You're right. You got to keep
absolutely.
People going.
I mean, for real, like I try to explain that to like bands. How have you guys been a band for 25 years? I'm like, dude, I work out 5 days a week for the last fucking 30 years of my life.
Dude.
Like literally, wow, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, that's about right.
I mean,
for the last 30 years of my life, I've been trying to work out 4 or 5 days a week.
Yeah. And I think that's something that, I mean, we definitely had a like mind on that, like as the two camps, Bleeding Through and Avenged.
Orange County bands, Southern California bands, we understood longevity, I feel like.
Yeah.
And also where we're from is very where we're from.
Oh, it's I mean, fitness is a lot of places here.
My thing is that the reason why people hated on our band so much is because we were just so much more attractive. Like, it's so fucking true, dude.
Humble brag.
Dude, I'm sorry.
No, it's true.
But like, dude, like, look at our bands. Like, even still, look at Bleeding Through is more attractive of a band now than we were, and we were fucking attractive as fuck.
I can attest.
Same with Avenged. You guys, it's like and the thing is, all of our bands, like Atreyu, like we've all held up so well.
Yeah,
dude, like, God, I'm gonna get grilled. I'm gonna get crucified for this. So fuck it, I don't care. So basically, we play with bands on the East Coast that are like still active after all these years, and I'm like, dude, like get it together.
Yeah.
Like, get it together. But it's man.
Wait, what bands are you talking about specifically?
We were just so we were all just so fucking handsome. You can't. It's like it looks like we have it all, and I understand the hate.
Hey, dude, you're right. We both of our a lot of the bands you just mentioned, the three of us growing up together, which was very much growing up together.
Yeah,
here
we
in
grew
this
up together.
scene.
Yeah,
and you're right. The first things we always, even in Orange County, we were still like looked at as like the pretty boys
totally
of the hard rock.
It used to bum me out, but I think it's fucking cool now.
I used to love it. I was like, oh, is that supposed to be an insult? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did you just accidentally call me good looking?
It's just like nobody in our band had long hair other than Marta, because she's a female, which not saying females need to have long hair, but she's the only one that did.
Yeah.
And we were like dipping in the metal world and rock world, and it's like, it was weird. We were just so fucking handsome. People trip the fuck people out, man.
Well, who do you think was the most handsome though? Out of all the Orange County bands, you had to pick one guy. You can't pick yourself, Brandon.
I'm not gonna pick myself. I don't.
You had to pick one guy out of the OC scene that came out. I mean, maybe even maybe not.
No,
and we're not talking about longevity here. We're talking about that moment in the early 2000s.
The most handsome, dude. It was Matt.
You think so?
Fuck yeah, it was Matt.
See, I would agree. Yeah.
Tall. Back then, he was just like all jacked and shit.
Yeah, he had the slicked back hair.
Yeah.
You know, I think, the ladies still love him. I get it.
But here's the thing, too. Like, Val is also like super attractive. So, like, the both of them together, like, was like, it elevated even further.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean?
I agree. Especially when we get Val up on stage to do songs with us. And then, you know, she's always running the merch and
dude.
tour managing
It just,
for us.
Yeah. Whatever. Fuck you, Matt.
I would put Matt up there, you know. I mean, because it feels a little homerism if I could go Matt. I want to put in James Hart for his heyday.
Yeah, James
Hart for his heyday was a ladies' man.
His swagger, the fact that he was like a hairstylist, kind of worked into that. Yeah.
18 Visions, that's what we're talking about there. Man.
The most attractive one was Marta.
There we go.
She had an advantage.
Very true. Very true. So yeah, let's get back into the music real quick.
Cool.
We talked a little bit about wrestling. Actually, fuck that. It's my show. I want to talk a little bit more about wrestling.
Let's go wrestle.
So before we were running shit here and started hitting record on everything, we were just rapping about wrestling a little bit. And you mentioned like some of these guys that you've met over the years.
Yeah, some of the newer wrestlers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they call them newer now.
They're not new, man.
They're not new anymore. The names he's about to say for those wrestling fans watching are gonna be like, that guy's been around for like 20 plus years. But to our newer. But you mentioned a few of them that I'm just a huge fan of, and you're like, did you know? How have you not met them? And I'm like, I don't know.
It's kind of weird because of like a brief meeting with like Seth Rollins. We expressed our love for the Bears together. He probably doesn't even fucking remember, but whatever, we did. We did. Graves and I guess Corbin, yeah, King Corbin, Baron Corbin,
yeah,
you know,
three great names.
It's great. It's kind of crazy though because it's like it's the same thing. Like when the lights are on, man, these dudes just snap into it, and then but now that like,
did you just quote Macho Man?
So like, but it's kind of cool because like seeing these people on a human level and becoming friends with them is really cool.
Yeah,
like, you know, like
it gives a certain appreciation.
Like I've known Corbin for like a long time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
See, I mean, he's a great talent too. Like
he's great.
I love his in-ring stuff. But you know, I think maybe it goes back to our generation. I've always put a lot of stake in mic work in wrestling, and Corbin's always had phenomenal mic work in my opinion. His promos are always good. He's you know, wrestling fans talk about believability and stuff like that, even though we know that it's choreographed, but you still want that believability. You want to be just like any form of entertainment. Like you watch TV, you want to be taken out of reality, right? Yeah. So you're being taken out of reality a little bit, but you still want it to be somewhat believable. He was always believable.
Well, it's like what you're saying too. Like you mentioned choreographed, right?
Right.
The whole thing is like wrestling's not fake, dude.
No.
Like these dudes, like, and women, I mean, dude. The rise of women's wrestling is
so cool.
I think the greatest thing that ever happened to wrestling.
Right.
Because they're so fucking talented too.
Yeah.
They do so much stuff that like the dudes cannot just not do.
Yeah.
But like it's just fucking better of a product. Like athleticism is better. Like it's all just better now. I don't know, man.
Well, you know, I mean, just like every other sport, everyone's resting on the shoulders of the giants before them.
Yeah.
And each time, that means that it gets taller and taller, right?
Yeah.
So like that's what it is,
yeah.
you know, and you know, it's all paying homage to those before, but also how do I improve that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that happens in every sport, and I know that it's sports and entertainment, but sports are entertainment.
Totally.
I don't understand why everyone like calls it something like it's got to be separated.
Like they take a beating, dude. They take a beating, dude.
Yeah, and they do it nonstop, year in, year out. Aside from when they get injured or they are allotted like some vacation time.
Yeah.
They're traveling more than we ever did. And we traveled a lot.
We traveled a fucking lot.
But they're doing like 365. They have been putting out at least once a week for 40 years, 40 plus years, plus all the house shows is in between. Then they add SmackDown, and they add fucking another night of just TV, and then they do a pay-per-view a month now. Well, they call them something different now because it's on the streaming services.
Yeah.
But whatever it's called. But
TV,
it's like
streaming.
yeah, whatever. It's all the same shit. But yeah, it's and when you think about that, and when you get to know some of these guys, we've been able to meet some through the show, and befriended Chris Jericho years ago before I was doing this, just out of him being good friends with Mike Portnoy in 2010 when we were touring and stuff, and you know he's always been big in the music scene too. He's got
big.
Fozzy.
Fozzie's cool.
Fozzie's really cool, and he's. Have you met Chris?
I've never met Chris. It's weird, like. It's just so weird that like the generations that I've like met, like I know this new, but even now they're like I said, like the old generation now. It's weird.
Yeah.
But like that generation, and you think I would meet Chris Jericho because it's like I'm in like a metal band and like.
So is he.
And I feel like our paths like haven't crossed yet. You know what I mean?
It's odd.
I heard he's like one of the nicest dudes ever.
Super nice.
I loved him as a wrestler. I thought he was really fucking talented.
He's still wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, I love you as a wrestler.
I just had to
Hit me up, Chris.
Yeah.
Get on our record.
Yeah, you'll run past with him though. But like, yeah, when you meet guys like that too, I go back to that part of the story. First of all, music, he's like super knowledgeable at everything. Like you could bring up any obscure album you think you can stump him with, you won't. He's a music fanatic. To the absolute core, which is so awesome to see. And then that's how you bridge the gap into like getting to know him as a person with wrestling and stuff, because there is that character, and he's had so many characters that he's been able to reinvent himself so many times.
Nuts. How can you do that,
dude? Y2J was like one of the. I thought there was no other way he could hit that pinnacle.
Yeah.
And then he just keeps doing it. He just keeps doing it.
Yeah.
It's like fucking insane. And like,
is he insane?
Hard work.
If you can do that, I
think he has a doppelganger.
I feel like
not like. Well, I mean, I know he has a doppelganger, but I think he has a clone. He has a fucking clone out there. Because like, dude, he does too much shit.
He's everywhere. I've seen him wrestle and then host like an award show like 20 minutes later. How do you do that?
And then play a show.
There's more of him.
There has to be.
It's like that movie. Was it The Illusionist?
Yeah.
With like Christian Bale.
It's Christian Bale and Wolverine.
Yep. Christian Bale and Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman. Dude, have you seen movie 43, by the way? I don't know why I just went on this.
What is that?
Okay, you gotta go. This is your homework, Brandon. You gotta go watch movie 43. Any of you at home who haven't seen movie 43, go watch it. Hugh Jackman's part in it. So it's a whole movie, but it feels more like skit comedy.
Okay.
So like there's like movies within movies that are like 3 to 5 minutes long, and Hugh Jackman they're all ridiculous, like completely out there. It's not for everyone. I showed it to Brian one year, and he was like, "That's not even funny." And I was like, I was dying. And I showed it to him again. He got it a little bit more recent, but there was like one. He's like, "I can't get on board with that skit."
That's so funny, man.
It's your homework. I want you to text me later after you watch
it.
Have a little doobie. Have a little.
I'm into it. Last night I watched a Snoop Dogg movie with my wife.
Which one?
The Underdogs. Dude, if you haven't seen that fucking movie.
Oh, is that the one that just came? It's not that old, right?
It's not that old. It's like he coaches like it's not about Snoop, but like
Loosely based because he is a football
it's
coach.
loosely based about like him doing it, but like
He coaches
it's
the youth.
really fucking funny, man.
Dude.
In the most like, yeah, you just gotta watch it. I can't even like try.
Was it
to
on
do
Prime or Hulu?
It's on Prime.
It's on Prime. I
Yeah.
thought I saw it on Prime. It's on. I think it might be on my watch list. I'll watch it tonight.
You gotta watch
I'll
it.
watch that. You watch me
Okay.
43.
Tradesies.
Yeah. So yeah, talked a little bit about wrestling and everything like that. Big fans and stuff. We definitely have to watch. Where are you gonna be for Mania this year? Are you gonna be here?
What date is it?
Oh no, you'll be getting back from your Northwest shows.
Oh shit!
It's the first weekend of April.
And it's in LA.
No, it's in Philadelphia this year.
Fuck. Was it in LA last year?
It was in LA.
Okay.
I went. That's where I got that for my
You
son.
won?
Yeah, I won. I beat Roman Reigns. You didn't see that?
No, dude.
I ended his thing, and then you know what?
You ended his reign?
I ended his reign, and that's why they got a new title. I don't know if you guys saw, but they had to get a new belt.
Yeah.
Because like they pulled me inside and said, "Look, we know you won, but we can't have his reign end like this. So we're gonna pretend this didn't happen." And that's why no one remembers it. It's like one of those Mandela effect
Yeah,
things.
I got you.
Know? So like, yeah. Reverse Mandela effect? I don't know. But yeah, so we should watch WrestleMania. My point was we
Okay.
should watch WrestleMania
Let's do it.
together.
Done.
Get you back into that.
Done.
It's going to be insane. The Rock is back.
Done.
Fucking
Are
Cody
you doing it here?
Rhodes. So, yeah, what's up? Yeah,
doing it here?
we'll fucking watch it here.
I'll be
We'll
here.
have some drinks. We'll
Let's
have
fucking
a
go.
good time. But getting off of the wrestling, bringing it back to music. We're talking about the new Bleeding Through record that you guys are currently working on. It's going to be coming out later this year. You mentioned some of the goals that you had in there. I wanted to ask, now that we've talked a little bit about perspective and coming back to where you are in your personal life.
Yeah.
How are you going to have that come into when you do start the lyric process? Do you have an idea basically of what you're going to try to do with the lyrics?
Yeah, I mean,
because it's been 6 years since
yeah,
the last record.
it's been a minute since the last record, and
Lots,
it's like
lots probably changed. I mean,
yeah, I'm pretty happy in my life. You know what I mean? And I can't always say that about like how I was like through like Bleeding Through's like career. You know? Oh, I need another drink.
Yeah, I got you.
Thanks. So anyway, he's a great bartender, by the way. You know, it's hard to write. It is hard to dig into levels of pure hatred, love when you're like happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? It really is. And you could go there, you could channel it, but it comes from another place. And I actually think that the last few months I've been struggling with that as far as like what I'm gonna fucking sing about. Because before it was just about feeling alone, rejection. It's about like the pains of just isolation. That's like what I sang about. I'm a kind of a mental case. I'm bipolar. And it's something I hid from my band for like a really long time, like their whole career. And they would always just be like, I know they knew something was wrong with me. You know what I mean?
If you're around somebody that's in the dressing room one day being so pumped and happy, and then the next moment you're like,
no, even on tour,
sucks.
even when we did stuff with you guys, like it's like some days I'd be on like, I would just like not be approachable.
Yeah.
You know? And
I remember that.
yeah, and I was closed off to a lot of people. I didn't really just know how to like deal with it. You know what I mean? And so lyrics back then were just fucking boom, boom, boom. I could write fucking whatever. But now it's a little bit different. But I still, the thing that I channel, it's harder to channel, but the thing that I'm channeling now is just what the daily battle of your mind is and how your mind is so complex and striving for balance and being truthful with yourself. I feel like this record is going to be a lot of me like singing into the mirror, looking into the mirror, like telling me the things that like I need to work on personally. I know that sounds really
I don't know why,
weird.
but I'm picturing Dave Mustaine in this video.
Hello, me. It's me again.
I'm back to write a new Bleeding Through record.
It's weird. Like, so what I've been writing so far, it's actually darker than anything I've like written. But it doesn't. But it's not because I'm like unhappy. I'm just channeling this like deep kind of thing inside of me, and it's kind of coming out to being dark. And then other than that, I'm singing like the lyrics that I've been writing are about my band and like our fans.
That's rad.
And how much like we love them. It's kind of weird. It sounds like it's not like, hey fans, we love you. It's not gonna be like that. It's more just like, it's about...
I think you just wrote the hit right there.
Holy shit. So
we gotta get in the studio,
dude,
bro.
Let's get out of here. I got the Freddy guitar. So I think that what I'm trying to say is like, I'm reflecting on our career, and that's what I'm writing about.
That's cool.
I'm writing about what I was feeling and what we were feeling through certain times of our career, and like what our fans meant to us through that, and how I feel like we are this, you know, like we have like love for each other, and there's this weird scene that like I feel like Bleeding Through kind of created for ourselves, and I think I'm proud of that, and I want to like sing about it.
Yeah.
Man, this doesn't even make fucking sense.
I mean, I'm following it.
Dude,
I mean,
honestly,
I had a crossfade, but
I mean, honestly, like, to summarize, I am happy. I'm still bipolar.
I think you just proved how bipolar you are in one fucking paragraph.
I'm so bipolar. I hate it so much. I love it. So
that's fantastic.
I'm happy, but really the lyrics are coming from a deeper place this time around. Almost like my feelings and emotions through different stages of our career. Like I'm gonna reflect on the whole career and it's the journey. So I'm gonna sing about the journey of our fucking band.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like 99 to 2024. Like I want to somehow have the lyrics tell the story of this fucking band. You know what I mean?
I think that's perfect because as you just said that, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh shit, it's 25 years.
Fuck yeah.
So you got an album coming out.
Yeah.
That's pretty much celebrating 25 years of Bleeding Through in a lot of ways.
I did not even know that. But it makes sense. Hold on a second. Yeah. So yeah, 25 years. It's going to come out 25. Wow, fuck.
That's pretty cool.
You're a genius.
I know, right?
Holy shit.
Fucking blew his mind.
Okay. Yeah, so like... Yeah.
Call it 25.
And it's kind of, you know, the theme,
25
the theme of... I know I just gabbed on about a bunch of nonsense. Because
no, it's great.
But it's going to be about like this band.
I love that.
It's the story of us and how we've battled through a lot of heartbreak and disappointment, but also had the greatest times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of the greatest times that we reflect on were like the worst times in the moment. I'm sure you kind of agree with that.
Oh.
Times that when you're in it, you're like, oh my God, that was the worst time. And now you look back on it and that's the story.
Absolutely.
First off, for those who don't know, bands talk about the shittiest times as the best of times.
Absolutely.
It just is what we do.
Oh, dude, I mean, it's everything that I've always said about, you know, the early years being in the band, doing Warped Tours, doing things like that. I didn't go to college. Those were my college years.
Those were college years.
Those were college years. And the same way that someone who went to college can maybe sympathize with or understand it better, it's the same thing. Like you look back at college, like you had a lot of work to do. You know, there's a lot of grueling parts if you graduated.
But we willingly worked to the bone back then.
To do it, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's a young man's game, that's for sure.
Dude, it is a young man's sport. But yeah, so that's what the lyrics are going to kind of be about. The record title, this is our 9th record.
Yeah.
And this is, well, I guess I'm just going to tell you right now. The title is going to be called 9.
Nice.
It's just going to be the 9th. It's the 9th full length. And also in Deutsch, it means no.
Ah, yes.
So
to all you
Bleeding Through.
Fans. Bleeding Through, no. Giving it to the, no, just no.
What if it was like a hologram of just us like shaking our head? Like hologram covers. Dude, how have you not thought about this?
To have it say no.
Hold on. You guys
We've done hologram covers before, haven't we? We've done one or two.
That's true, you have.
But we did one at least. I'm trying to remember. It was on the outside.
I'm just thinking like,
no, I think
your new record is
9.
like a metal opera from outer space, and I feel like a hologram cover would have been appropriate.
Yeah, that's not bad though. But I mean, we had West Lang, so.
It's true.
I say you guys take that idea. It was
Okay,
your
okay.
idea anyway.
Okay.
But like, yeah, that's a good one, dude. You're gonna at least have a vinyl.
The record's gonna be called 9. It just is the 9th record of this band. I never thought that we would do this. I literally thought that Bleeding Through. I remember saying on like a yearly basis, probably like 2 more years. I probably got 2 more years. The next year, probably like 2 more years. I was like on borrowed time for like 2. It's just so weird.
Right.
You know?
Well, let's get into that though, because
Okay.
this kind of segues in. Your new record's gonna.
Well, when we started, like, did you think this was gonna?
No.
Fuck, man, and like, you know, success varies. It just does, but overall, the common theme is that both of our bands have celebrated probably a lot more years of being a band than we thought were going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that alone is just like a fucking win. And the fact that we still support ourselves off of this fucking shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy too, you know?
Dude.
And so it's just like, I never thought that back then. I just thought, yeah, we'll do a couple more tours and then I'll have to figure out what I'm gonna do with the rest of my life. I didn't see it as that option. I didn't. Like even going up to like the first Ozzfest we did in 04. Okay. I just wasn't, it just was like, you know, as soon as this drops out, we're good. You know what I mean? Like we've done it, you know? And then it was being around my peers that were having the success that was on another kind of level that really made me feel like, you know, it's possible. And like, I began to like know people like Rob Flynn from Machine Head and Max Cavalera I've met a few times, and people like that became human to me that have been playing like music like ours that have had like longevity in a career. But I always thought it was Bleeding Through of like this is like shitty metalcore hardcore band from Orange County. Like how much longer can we go? And this is where I'm going to totally pump up his ego. So basically, there was 2 things that really inspired Bleeding Through to realize it was like a possibility to actually like, okay, we could like actually like do this for like a living now. It's kind of weird. We toured with AFI in 03, right when Sing the Sorrow came out.
Right.
And it was like, they went from like 1,000 people a night band to like a 5,000 people a night band.
Yep, that was
You
like
know?
that was the big that
And
summer after
yes.
was when they did Warped Tour with us too, and that's when all of the labels, major labels, if you remember that summer, were coming to Warped Tours looking for
poaching,
just grabbing
just
everybody.
like what's the next AFI, right?
Exactly,
right?
because AFI had so much success with that. That was DreamWorks, right?
DreamWorks put that record out, yeah, and then it was like we saw that and being on the road with that, we're like, dude, like. Could we fucking have like any sort of this success to like be not at this level, but have a success to where we could like have longevity off of it? And then it was like, okay, you know, I'm at 24 Hour Fitness with Matt lifting, and he's just like, yeah, we just signed a fucking Warner Brothers, and I'm just like, what?
I love this story because you already set it up like not having any expectation, and then you're like talking to your buddy.
Slide it in. He's just like, we're just like lifting, and he's like, yeah, we just signed to Warner Brothers. And I don't know what the figure was, but I remember I'm like, well, how much did you sign for? And he's like, told me the figure, and I'm just like, I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack. Like, are you fucking for real? Because back then that money was just like, what the fuck?
Oh, I remember that shit.
And I remember being so happy. But those are moments that like. It inspired us. And it was really weird because like, I don't know if you even know this part of the story, but we were close with AFI, and we've always been close with you guys. And that kind of let us know that like, dude, like what we're doing has a level of success that we can sustain. And let's fucking do it.
Right.
Let's do it. You know what I mean? And seeing examples like that were really, really fucking inspiring for us. So thank you for that. And it was like, it was so funny though, like as much as you guys like inspired us, people, you don't even, I think I told this to Matt like years ago. People tried to make us your enemy, especially in the UK.
Oh, I kind of remember that.
Years. It was like years.
That.
Every fucking interview was like,
nothing.
what do you think about Avenged Sevenfold? And blah, 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 blah with Avenged Sevenfold. I'm like, those are like our friends. Like, why are you trying to make us enemies? Like, you're both from Orange County, but you guys stayed like more heavy and they went this. I'm like, they've been the same fucking band just as long as we've been the same fucking band. Like, it might sound a little bit different here and there, but like, it's not like they came to the studio and were like, hey guys, we're going to write a radio record. No, that was an Avenged Sevenfold record. You know what I mean? Like, it just was good enough to fucking get to where it got. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you, man.
So it was like, it was funny.
Appreciate
cheers
the
to
kind
that.
words, man. I just appreciate the fucking, cheers to the kind words, not the other part of it. I don't need to toot my own horn.
It was so funny though, like, you know, like people just tried to like pin us against each other. And then when they realized that like we were not taking that bait, they would get other bands to like take the bait. And then I'd read about it, I'm like, what the fuck? And so then like they tried to make us enemies of Atreyu. And it was like, why? I get it. Orange County's like exploding right now, but stop trying. Like we all like have love for each other. Like we're all happy for each other.
I will say we're all happy for each other. Now I've talked to Brandan Soller and the rest of the guys in the Atreyu about this as well. Like there was a level of healthy competition, though.
Fuck yes, there was.
There was definitely, we're on the same bill.
Listen,
and we're looking at each other going, like, we're the next ones to get out of here.
And here's the thing, like, there was an order. There was an order. It was like, we wanted what Atreyu had. Atreyu wanted what you had. Yeah. Like, it was just, and we kept each other, like,
it pushed
going.
each other.
That's why we're still fucking bands.
Yeah, exactly. It pushed us to a point.
Totally.
There was, I mean, let's get into it.
But we were never bummed about each other's success.
No.
You know I
was to be hateful to that level is something different. I never turned on the radio and heard fucking Become the Bull and I was like, oh, those fucking guys. I was like,
they got it. No, dude.
No, I was like, fuck yeah, let's fucking go.
Yes, dude. For real.
You know, and it's so funny. You're right. That media was different then too, though. You know, there wasn't as open as it is now.
It was actually kind of better.
It was.
To be honest.
Well, in the sense of like how it served a better purpose. Put it that way. I don't think the content was necessarily.
No,
better,
it was horrible.
But the tool that it was very helpful. But they did. I mean, they had editors. That's what they were trying to do. They wanted to create a story to sell the magazines. They didn't care collateral damage. Rightfully so. They're running a fucking business. I could understand that.
I get it, but like none of it's and I look back and I'm like like none of our bands ever fucking like turned on each other. We never said shit. We were always supportive because we really were.
Yeah, we come back from those UK things and read those magazines. That's funny. Yeah. You want to go on tour together?
Yeah,
let's go on tour together.
What the fuck? Okay. What are you
want to play these shows? We got a tour coming up.
Yeah. So funny. But it was a weird time. Weird fucking time, dude.
Yeah. Let's go back though real quick before that. We're gonna go back into the journey of Bleeding Through real quick. You got time? We got another little while we could get into this with.
Quit my gym today.
Yeah, that's fucking tell them it's over. Done. You've made it. You're on the Drinks with Johnny podcast. You don't need that shit anymore. So going back to 99 when you're forming the band, okay? You mentioned you just wanted to make the music, it wasn't, what goals did you have in mind though?
Dude, so like in 99 when we started, it was like, I was playing guitar for 18 Visions and Throwdown.
Right.
And I'm a guitar player. I never wanted to be a fucking singer. I still would probably rather play guitar.
Yeah?
Like, dude, like, how cool do you guys look on stage? And you know what? You don't need to give a fuck about shit.
Well, even more so as a bass player.
If the shows suck, you could fucking create a bubble around you and just be like, fuck, I sound great right now, but this is sick, whatever. But I never wanted the sort of like, I never wanted the responsibility of a lead singer, And playing guitar, I'll tell you how it started. I'll tell you the band's thing. So I was playing for both 18 Visions and Throwdown, and I had to sing a show for Throwdown because the singer Keith, I don't know if his voice was fucked up. I had to do a couple shows on tour when I was on tour, and this was like 98, guys. This is like, we're babies. And I don't remember, but I had to sing a show, and I remember Scott Deneau, who I started Bleeding Through with, saw the show, and after he saw the show, me singing for Throwdown, he was like, dude, you gotta be a singer. And I'm like, I do not want to be a singer, like at all, like no part of me. And he's like, but like, you kind of like need to be. So we're gonna start this band and let me know what you think. And it started off as like fast hardcore. It's just like Throwdown a little bit faster. And I'm like, this is boring. I didn't like it. It was called Breakneck. We played one show. And I'm like, I want to do something different. Like if I'm gonna sing, like I want it to be something that like I don't feel like anybody's like really like heard before. So we started doing like blast beats because we were like super into like black metal. Like I love like Dimmu Borgir and like a lot of like death metal too, like Suffocation and Cannibal Corpse, and then like got into like Swedish metal. Like I mean, At the Gates was like my fucking shit. Like
oh yeah,
At the Gates like just changed my life. Like literally, I heard that record, Slaughter of the Soul, and I literally was just like, fuck. Okay, well my life just went to another, like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And so I was telling Scott, I'm like, I want to sound more like a little bit more black metal influence, death metal, Swedish death metal influence. And he's like, yeah, but like nobody cares about that. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I want to try it. Yeah. So when we were like fucking around and playing blast beats and shit, I'm like, dude, I don't think anybody's going to like this. And I'm like, that's kind of cool though. So we started playing a couple shows and it was just like, I'm not going to say it was like easy, but fuck, dude. Like fourth show, we headlined Chain Reaction. It was sold out.
That's rad.
And
that's a big deal too.
And it was like, that was a big deal and it happened really quick.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it was like unlike anything that people were kind of going with. It was a little harder. It was harder than 18 Visions, and it was more chaotic metal than like anything else at the moment. Right. And I think people just really
especially
needed
here.
Especially here. Yeah.
So like you just mentioned. You mentioned At the Gates. There was definitely some bands in Europe that were creating this style before bands like ourselves. Yeah. And we also were listening to these bands as well. And like that kind of influenced us to do our versions of that here. And for those at home, we got to remember we're talking 99. It wasn't like you could just go on the internet and find the latest At the Gates record. You know, you had to go down to Bionic Records and talk to Homeboy for about 3 hours to see who I should be listening to. You know, and so there was a definite separation of where this music was popping out, and it was. I think that might have been, and you can tell me, what might have been the obsession with it from that sound coming out of Orange County. Yeah. Getting the Orange County filter, rather.
I don't know. I feel like all of our bands were always looking to be something different than everything else.
Right.
Sorry, I was just coming to that.
Yeah. That's definitely true. For all the bands that are at Orange County, we always wanted to sound different, even than each other.
Like if you would ride in an Avenged Sevenfold or a Bleeding Through van in the 90s, early 2000s, you would listen to some fucking obscure shit.
Yeah.
Like both our bands were like massively obsessed with Dream Theater. You know what I mean? Yep. And like we listened to Soilwork and like shit like
Sonata
that.
Arctica?
Sonata Arctica, holy fuck. You know, shit like that. Yeah. So I feel like we looked at other bands as like influences.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I said, in sports, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. We're just looking at other people who've done it and seeing how we can make it our own.
Yeah. And I think we made it our own. And you listen to a lot of like the, metalcore, whatever you want to categorize anything as. Like, dude, like...
I was hoping you brought that up because I never knew what the fuck that meant when we were doing it.
A collision of metal and hardcore.
I remember seeing that on the magazine covers with all of our bands on there, like Orange County Metalcore. I was like... The fuck is metalcore?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things I kind of ran away from for a while, but now I kind of embrace it. I'm like, fuck yeah. And I kind of think that like there was two sections. There was like the Northeast, which was like the Boston, like Massachusetts, like metalcore, like bands like Unearth and Killswitch, and even before that, like Aftershock and like bands like that. And then there was like Orange County, which was like Atreyu and 18 Visions and us and you guys and shit that was just more metallic. And really like playing in 18 Visions in the early days, like, dude, like that band like really made like a big difference here.
Oh, absolutely.
For musically, for like bands that were like
so
coming
influential.
Through. Oh my fucking god.
So influential. Like that, their stage presence, the songs are great. Different style of music. It's like the hardcore we listened to a couple years before, but now you got these new elements in it, and then you have this swagger, as we talked about, James Hart, and the whole fucking vibe. Everyone's dressed nice, looking clean.
It's cool.
It was like, and I remember watching those shows as a kid, like before I even knew you, and I'm just like going like, this just is different. It's fucking fun. Cool.
And I think that's like a product of like where we're from. I think that we were so isolated for so many years from like where like the music that we were playing, the scenes that we were involved in, that was all on the East Coast, Midwest, all that kind of shit. And like, I feel like West Coast bands really created like the middle of America, like not created. That sounds so fucking stupid.
We'll cut that one out.
Helped grow the scenes in like Denver and Salt Lake, because there was a Salt Lake, Southern California connection, and like making that
those
like
shows out in Salt Lake? Like,
oh god. scared for your life.
Yeah, dude, they used to get fucking wild.
I'm like, are these people here to kill me?
They were having a good time, but it was like, dude.
Are they liking my band? Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that this is kind of talking about the forging of our bands and stuff. And that's why I wanted to get to. I know that this is, 25 years in the making and everything, and probably answer those questions. How did you form the band? Yeah. I wanted more like, not how you form it. My question's a little bit more easier, I guess, in a sense. The goal. What was the overarching goal when you first sat down and you're like, all right, now you've decided what the sound is, what's everything's going. What's the goal of Bleeding Through? Was there a goal?
I don't really think there was a goal, man. Like, I literally was like, once we started playing shows and I realized that people cared, I was like, where is this gonna go? And at the time I had a decision to make. I had like 18 Visions that I was massively involved in still, and that was my main band. But I feel like those members realized what was happening behind them. And I think they saw Bleeding Through kind of like, okay, like this is something, like we're gonna have to make a decision here. So we parted ways, and then I started kind of thinking about goals. I'm like, okay, well the goal was to just put a demo out. That happened. The goal was to play a show. Now these are happening. The goal was to go on tour. That happened. And it was kind of like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you had set your sights on goals, right? The goal was like so 2-year increments.
Yeah, the post kept moving.
Totally.
But you never could see the end of it.
I could never see it. And honestly, maybe it's the dreamer in me, but like, I still don't see it. Like, I still like, I don't know what I expect, but like, still like, I keep that in my mind because I want to be surprised one day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to be like, fuck, really? Fuck?
Dude, I think it is. I mean, to your point though, like I do think 2024 is going to be massive.
I think it's going to be a good year
There's
for
a
us.
resurgence of these new music listeners and there's new discovery, right? And I think for better or worse, they're looking back at that time that we were growing up and doing it and going like, what were these guys doing?
Well, what did we do? We always dip back into old bands.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. And fuck, we're old. Just fuck.
I was gonna call this the old geezer podcast. Yeah, dude. So we talked about that, and now real quick, Bleeding Through is on its way.
Yeah,
everything's going. I have not yet joined.
Do you want to know? Okay, go ahead.
I have not yet joined the band.
Yes.
I didn't join until we did the co-headliner with Treyu in 2002. It was up the West Coast again, and at that point, I'm joining. My brothers who...
And we did 3 tours with you guys before you.
Before I was in the band, right. So I'm hearing some really fun stories about Brandan Schieppati and Bleeding Through and how rad these guys are and how rad the parties were, and just shit that had been going on, right? And I'm newly in a band that's actually touring. So I'm just like, fucking sponge, just give me everything. Yeah. What is touring life like, And I'm hearing other stories, and then somewhere later, I think in like end of 2003 or 2004, it might have been the first time you and I met.
Yeah.
And I think one of the lines, I think I was introduced as the new bass player, and you made a joke about how long I was going to last. Because at that point, and it's all fair. I laughed at the time too, because I was literally the 6th bassist, maybe.
We used to call the bass player like the like in Spinal Tap. Yeah. The drummers, like they would just die and blow up. I don't know. We just had this thing where we're like, they're never gonna have a bass player, like a long-term bass player.
Right, and it seemed that way. It was fair game.
It was kind of like, because it was like the 4 of those dudes were so tight, right? And it's like bringing another person in is tough. You know what I mean? But then, dude, we saw you play a few times, and I'm like, this is the guy. Like, where the fuck are they going to go from there? Like, you don't need to go anywhere from there. Nah, you fit the band. You're talented. You're the same vibe as the band.
I have I had a rapport with them too. There's a history there. Like, for those who may not know the Avenged Sevenfold history, there's many bassists in the span of 3 years from its conception before
it was really quick, and it was, it's weird. I don't even know if you know this. Like, I actually hit up Matt for a brief second and was like, maybe I'll play bass for you guys.
Wow, that could have been a very different.
It's thing. Like Tim from As I Dying almost played bass for Bleeding Through. It's like one of those stories. You know what I mean?
Dude, Tim's a great player too.
He's a fucking great player. Yeah. But yeah, like but he, I mean, that was so fucking long ago.
Right.
Holy shit. I'm just like, dude, I'll play bass for you. And I don't know if he took it like serious, but I was kind of serious a little bit.
Wow.
Kind of serious a little bit.
I love that. I mean, it's one of those questions of what could have been, you know?
Dude. I'm glad it worked out the way it did. As much as I love your band. Cheers to that. Like, as much as I love Avenged Sevenfold, I don't know if I could have. I don't know. There's only one dude that could just do it, and they found him, so it's good.
Thank you. But real quick on that though, you have the unique knowledge of what was happening between 99 and 2020, 2002. I almost added some years to it. 2002, when I joined the band, you'd met some of these bass players because, like you said, you'd already done 3 tours with Avenged. What was your, overall perception, and what were some of the favorite times of like before I got there? Like, fill me in, because it's been a while since I heard some of these stories from the buddies.
Shit, man. Well, what was Shit Dog's real name?
Yeah, that's one of the things about it. The previous bassist's nickname was Shit Dog, so much so that he actually introduced himself as Shit Dog.
He introduced himself as Shit Dog, so I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 2 of the times was him, and one of the times, like, they had someone, I don't even fucking remember, because it was only like 4 shows. I don't remember the second guy they had. But, they just gave him a lot of hell, man.
Yeah.
And I was always like, dude, whoever's going to be the bass player is going to have to, like, get, like, hazed in, right? Right?
Yeah.
Did you have to get hazed in?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Fucking.
Dude, I think it finally stopped, like...
Last year?
Yeah.
Dude,
pretty much.
I'm sorry, but, like, the dudes in your band, it's like a fraternity.
Oh, it totally
That's the
is.
only way I can fucking describe it.
It's a brotherhood.
It's
man.
a brotherhood.
It's a
absolutely.
brotherhood.
Absolutely. And, like, yeah. So some of those stories with them was just like, dude, like, I felt like both our bands were always in Syracuse.
I just remembered the line that I remember hearing about you before I got to meet you. My favorite line is when Shit Dog introduced himself to you.
Yeah.
And he stuck out
I didn't
the
like
story.
it.
The story, I know you didn't like him, because the story was that I heard. Maybe you could corroborate or fix it up a little bit. You're sitting on the couch, backstage, whatever. He walks up, throws out his hand and says, "Hey, what's up, man? I'm Shit Dog." You shake his hand back and say, "What's up, man? I'm Fuckface."
Yeah. Like, dude, don't call yourself Shit Dog. Have some respect. Like, dude. Like, I felt bad for him, but I'm like, you're playing into this too much, man. You should not call yourself that at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, I mean, here's the thing that, dude, like, there were some crazy fucking tours. Like, we did Canada. It was us, Avenged, and Bury Your Dead.
How the fuck did you guys even get into Canada?
I don't
at that
know.
time?
None of us had paperwork. None of us had paperwork.
Yeah, no.
We were actually banned from Canada at the time, and somehow they let us in. But I remember Canada was so brutal to Avenged. Because it was like, us and Bury Your Dead were like cool fucking hardcore kids, whatever the fuck. And people were like trying to clown like Avenged, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was so mad, right? And I'm just like, after the show, I remember like the dudes in Bury Your Dead fucking like getting like into like a scuffle with like some of the people at the show, and we're in Quebec. And I remember the like fucking first people to like have Bury Your Dead's back was, well, us, but like Avenged. Like, dudes were walking out of the van with like tire irons and shit. And I'm just like, fuck yeah, dude. And I'm like, these kids don't even know. Like, this band is so much gnarlier than the bands they fucking like love, you know what I mean? But like, just like,
we had our day.
Like some of the tours that happened and like some of the experiences, like shit was just so raw back then.
Yeah.
You know? It's just, fuck, I don't know if it's ever that raw now. You show up to a show, you know that the show's going on, you know? Back then we're like, I don't know.
Back then you might have a parking lot fight with the fuck with some of the people who paid to see.
I think Avenged hid like T-shirts in their like guitar cabinets, like unscrewed guitar cabinets. Because remember back then it was like, you had to count all your merch.
You had to count it all
like,
in and out. Yeah.
Dude, back then it was like fucking.
I remember those. You just reminded
shit.
me about the count-ins. God,
Dude.
That made the fucking borderline so
it was
much
the worst.
worse. So much
worse.
I'd blocked that out of my memory.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it back, Brandon. But
seriously. At like 3 a.m, you're like counting shirts, and you're just like, fuck.
It's funny though. It's funny. A lot of people may have forgotten or whatever the case may be, but yeah, there was a lot of fights that would happen at these shows. Like that was, and I remember hearing about it before because I was friends with these guys, and they, be talking shit about some of the fights that they'd be in and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh man, that shit's crazy. So I went and did my first show with them. Was in Tucson, Arizona.
Oh.
Tempe. Okay. Sorry, it was Tempe. And that night, I was just, wasn't even a member of the band yet, just filling in.
Yeah.
And I got pointed to the merch, and they're like, Johnny, watch the fucking merch. And Matt and everybody are about to go outside into the parking lot and get this fight going. And I was like, what do I do?
Do you want to go help? Or
I'm like, I want to go help the fight, but now we had like boxes of merch that needed to be watched. I was worried about it getting stolen. And I was like, well,
shit was weird, man.
Yeah.
They just wanted to fight us because we were handsome. Like I said before,
that's what it is.
We were too handsome
and
for
now
the world we were playing in.
And now in 2024, they can't hold that against us anymore. No. It's frowned upon. You can't. Anybody's looks. You can't fuck with it.
No, you can't.
Too handsome.
Too handsome.
You're just stealing everybody's girlfriend.
Yeah, dude.
Just get mad.
Oh God. Oh fuck. I was straight edge, so I mean, yeah, that was kind of my thing.
Yeah, it was your vice.
That was my vice.
Let's be honest. Everything. We've grown up now. We've alluded to that enough times. But back in the day. I mean, back in those van days, like I can attest that Brandon was a bit of a ladies' man.
Shit.
Always. I mean, we would talk about it, man. We'd be walking away and be like, he's always got like the hottest girl in the room after the fucking show.
I would find the one that didn't look like they were supposed to be there.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what are you doing here? Perfect line. Yeah. Why are you watching our bands play?
Yeah. It was I don't want to say nightly, but it was often enough that it became like a running.
I'm sure it was. Yeah. When you're straight edge and you're not drinking and stuff like that, you're just...
Especially around all of us drinking and shit like that,
I was flirty. Whatever, man.
So I'm glad you mentioned straight edge because that's like all this time that I've known you to be straight edge.
Yeah. First time we ever had a drink together was
December. Yeah. We've been knowing each other for this long. We just had so let's go into that real quick because straight edge was very closely knit with music, with the hardcore.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about Minor Threat, everything even before us, but very much so when we were growing up in Orange County hardcore scene and straight edge scene was
huge.
Like,
it's fucking massive.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Well, the biggest bands were straight edge. Like a lot of the biggest bands, like 18 Visions, Bleeding Through, Throwdown. Members of other bands were straight edge. You know what I mean? So it ran through like pretty deep.
Yeah, and it made sense. And and then flash forward to like December, you have a cocktail in your hand, and I'm like, when did you start drinking?
Yeah, it throws people off still.
And I was like, so how long has it been?
2013.
2013. Yeah. So it's been a minute.
I was straight edge for 20 years.
20 years. Okay, man. So I gotta ask the question because I take time off of drinking and doing stuff. Gotta stay, as we're talking about, gotta stay moving, gotta stay healthy and stuff like that. But I've never been straight edge, and and I guess I've been vice versa, but never been straight edge. So I mean, like, what were some of the things that led to that?
So like, sort of like a little bit of like a. To me, it was like, fuck. How do I explain this? I grew up around alcoholism. Okay. My brother like smoked a lot of weed and stuff. So like when I grew up, it was more just like, what's my thing? And I was never really like into that. And so it was like, I remember I heard my brother gave me a Uniform Choice fucking tape. And I remember on the front, it had the singer for Uniform Choice, Rob Dubar. Pat Dubar was the singer. Rob. You're going to shout out Rob Dubar. It was him on the front with an X on his hand. And I remember the front of the cover, I asked my brother, I'm like, what is that? And he's like, it means straight edge. It means you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do drugs. And I'm like, well, okay, that sounds cool. But I remember like listening to that, like listening to lyrics. I'm like, I feel like that like just speaks to me. You know what I mean? And then I started meeting people like in Newport. It was like a big thing. Same in Huntington.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Huntington was
to say it was a big thing is like that is like it was massive where we were from.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I think it was just it spoke to me. It was like it it was like a daily purpose for me to just not have that in my life. And it wasn't really, I was never preachy. I just felt that this was for me.
Right.
That was my junk was to not do junk. You know what I mean?
Right.
And stay very like mentally focused.
And there's worse things.
Mentally focused.
And by the way, just to point it out though, like, that's good because you didn't start drinking and doing it until your brain is developed.
I know us.
I wish
now,
I would have waited a little bit.
And I feel like if we were all straight, we were pretty much all straight edge our whole like full on career.
Yeah.
And I think if we weren't, we would not have had the longevity.
That's fair.
I just don't think it because like
a lot of
now
bands,
when we fucking hang out, we fucking rage, and I'm like, if we did that every fucking night, we'd be Avenged Sevenfold.
I guess there's worse things to do. No, but I mean, as you were saying
it kept us very focused at hand, and also I feel like because that time I was struggling really hard mentally and couldn't always afford medication, and also creating dependencies on like other things to kind of get me through. Dude, if I was like drinking every day and shit, like fuck.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be alive.
Yeah.
I took it so personally every night. I let it sink in so much. Like a bad show like had me on like the fucking cliff every night. I couldn't just be like, I'm on this stage with my band and I did my fucking best and I still feel it. You know what I mean? If it was a bad show, like it would break me. And I think that's just because of my mental state of mind. So I'm like,
I gotta cut you off there because I think that was all of our mental state of mind.
I mean, it was like we kind of go back to like that like friendly competition, right?
Yeah,
there was a lot of pressure.
Each other.
There was a lot of fucking pressure, man.
Right.
Like we had to answer questions of why we weren't as big as Avenged Sevenfold all the time. And the thing is like that was, and not saying anything like bad about but it's like the expectations were so high, and I'm like, dude, we sound how we sound.
Right.
Cool.
It was again like going back to it. It was the media that again served its purpose, but it was the media that was saying like, oh, this is the next thing, and we're grouping them all together, and it's like, no, you can't. We're not like we love each other, but we don't. We don't
coexist with each other. We're not like one hand, like
We're leading the charge.
No, we're not. We're like
we were just trying to do our things.
We all had completely different plans.
Right.
Completely. When people ask me all the time, like, back in the day, like, what do you think about Avenged? Like, fucking signing to Warner and fucking, platinum and touring. I'm like, that's what they fucking wanted.
From day one.
Yes. I've never heard anybody in that band go, no, man, we just want to play like Chain Reaction for the rest of life. No, it was like, we want to play fucking stadiums.
Yeah. It was always that's why I like the goal. That's why I like the goal question. That's always been the goal.
Our goal is
and different bands have different goals.
Total. I don't think I could have been a musician in a band that was as big as you guys were. Or I maybe, but I don't know, man. My fucking anxiety is crazy. I got to be able to control the room, dude. But anyway, like I don't know, man. But like it was very intense all the fucking time, and it was like really hard to get through. And
those bad shows, we all felt it. Like, dude, it not even just individually. You remember like those bad shows that were like, one of us would come off stage, whoever was before that night, whatever it might have been, and we'd be like warming up, and you look over at the guys getting off stage, and you're like, so how was it?
Yeah.
And you see them go, oh, and we went, fuck. Yeah. It's not even just us. Sometimes it's just a bad crowd or just a bad night, it's a bad vibe. Yeah. And you're just like, man, this one isn't going to be fun,
Yeah. Fuck. There's one show that stands out in my mind. I don't know if you ever heard about the show. We played Richmond, Virginia with Avenged, and we made Bury or Dead headline that night, and people sat down during Avenged and Bleeding Through. And then they stood up during Bury or Dead. I remember like just being outside. Brutal. I remember telling Matt afterwards, I'm like, dude, like what the fuck, man? Like he was just like, whatever, fuck him.
Yeah.
Matt always kind of had the best. Matt had a fucking mentality.
Out of everyone,
very level-headed.
Everyone that out of the scene, I would say, yeah, Matt always had the clearest vision.
Totally.
Put it that way. We all shared it in Avenged.
Yeah.
But he had the clear vision of like, fuck everybody else.
It was like one of those things where like, there was no time like when both of our bands were like coming up in this area. Like it was fucking crazy. Yeah. Like I never thought I'd be like recognized out anywhere. In like in Orange County for like a certain while, like you couldn't even go to like anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
we would want to go to shows.
And you couldn't.
Yeah. You're like, you could, but it would be like you knew it was a hassle.
That's why that's why I feel like I give so many props to like local like Orange County and like Southern Cal, like they made us feel like we could fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, so many, I mean, that's the other, I didn't even really realize it until we started to get to a certain level of success of how many just groundbreaking, I won't even say musical genres have actually come out of Orange County. I didn't realize that history. I didn't even realize it. Growing up here, I was just like, it's fucking, this town's fucking boring.
Yeah, right. But I mean, right. This place fucking sucks.
And now I'm still living here.
Yeah, exactly. It does not suck. It does not suck.
You know, it's the grass is greener though, right?
It is.
So let's go back to real quick to the straight edge and then the transitioning. Like obviously we talked head focus. It's great. That's what we were all doing. I think that's what we're alluding to for all those is that we as a group coming out like at least the three-headed monsters that we're talking about mostly that. Healthy competition, you know. I mean, what is it? Diamonds are made of pressure, and we're pressuring each other. And you know, and there isn't. I will say this for everybody, and I know that you already know this, and we've said it off camera before. There really isn't Avenged without Bleeding Through.
No, there's not. I tell people that all the time.
It just doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Like it was like it's like you're racing cars, right? And like Avenged is out in front, and then we got your slip screen right there. We're just kind of going like that. But it's like one of those things where like. It was one band aspiring to be like the next band, but all fucking backing each other. And it's like, you felt the heat from the back and we wanted to pressure up front. We did. Not to like, hey, fuck that band, but it's more like, well, I want that now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Well, like, we're good too.
These are my peers that we grew up together with.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it just, I don't think any of our bands would really exist without each other.
100%.
It was like, it was just the thing that kind of kept us going. So are you asking when I wanted to stop being straight edge? Yeah,
I mean, well, that's fast forwarding a little bit. I was talking about it a little bit. We'll get to that. Let's just go back to, you mentioned it earlier, Ozzfest 2006.
Yeah.
We're all partying together on that one. Well,
I sober raged like motherfucker.
You sober raged like motherfucker.
I raged like the motherfucker. I raged like I was on PCP.
That was like one
I would
of those
go one
times.
day a week like that, and then you probably would, and then I would just hermit away for like the rest of the time.
Yeah. Well, I bring it up though because to this point of what we're talking about, to have our Orange County bands on something as massive as Ozzfest.
Yeah.
Again, with different sounds than what would be traditionally on Ozzfest. Yeah. And I mean, we were going on there. It was our one and only Ozzfest, and we were announced as the mystery band. The mystery band that no one wanted on the bill. So we were having fun with it. I mean,
you guys,
we knew what we were getting ourselves into when we got out on there, and it was exactly like
I don't know why
we had to win
the
back
mystery
everybody.
band. You did, like honestly, and I've talked about this with. I've even talked about this with Brian before. That was so crazy because like City of Evil's out, right?
Yep.
And like
the most hatred we would get.
I loved it. The backcountry, sick as fuck.
From this scene. I'm saying from this specific scene, that's probably the most
too good. It's too good. The songs were too good. The videos were too good. This is also Orange County, and it's very jealous spot as well for a lot of people. It was just too good, and they're too handsome, straight up. No, I remember thinking like, dude, like every night I felt like you guys had to go try to win that crowd.
Yeah.
And that was like weird.
Yeah.
And then like I would come up and sing the walk with you guys, and then this crowd would go nuts, and I'm like, shit. Like
that was our biggest pop every time.
And I remember just being like, asking like dudes, like I remember asking like Jimmy when I like, are you bummed about like some of this? He's like, you know what? It's kind of like fun. Like it makes me want to like play fucking harder.
Yeah.
And we haven't been in this situation in a while.
It was literally
time,
going
like
back.
wherever we go, it's like they're there for us. So it's like we almost have to go back like he said like we almost have to go back like we're on Warped Tour again.
Yeah.
And like fight for people to like us. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it felt like.
And I know it was fucking hard, dude.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
but I mean, the other side of it though,
dope.
it was so rad because it was fun on the stage, right?
Yeah.
To have to know that you had to do that every night.
Yeah, for sure.
You had the goal right there. The goalpost was right there, and you just knew what you had to do to get there.
Yeah.
So you went out there every night. That part was fun. But what was even more fun was knowing that 90% of the roster we had already befriended.
You totally.
And we were already like, we're gonna go do our thing, and then we're gonna go back and drink with these fuckers and have a great time.
I have a great story about 2006 Ozzfest.
Let's go.
And it has to deal with Disturbed.
So the playings of Disturbed are so good.
So the thing is this. So like we're going on there and we're like cocky fucking like metalcore band. We think we're the shit. We just put out our biggest record. We're a fucking headliner on the second stage. And honestly, I'm just like, yeah, dude, like, and I've told Dave this story before. And so I was like, I'm gonna become friends with this dude. Right? This dude. Hey, bro. And I'm like, I'm gonna become friends with that dude. And kind of just like writing it off like it's Disturbed, they're the enemy, right? And we're there on rehearsal day, and I'm in catering, and I'm sitting by myself because I'm just weird like that. And dude cruises up and goes, hey man, is anybody sitting at this table? And I look over, it's Dave Draymond. I'm like, shit. Right? The whole thing was like to like take a piss out of him, right?
Yeah, you're being a little shithead.
And he goes, hey, your name's Brandon, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm Dave. Sing for Disturbed. I'm like, I know. And he's like, I really love your band. I'm like really stoked that you guys were like playing this fucking thing. And I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, and I told him like straight up, I'm all right, bro. I had this idea that I was gonna just be your nemesis on this tour, and you're the fucking coolest dude I've met today. And that dude was so fucking, you know them.
Oh, dude, yeah, Dave is.
Dude, those dudes are so fucking cool, man. Like, and I'm like, this is Disturbed. They're so good live too. Like they just.
That was when I became.
He pulls buildings down to the ground. He's like, grab this building.
That fucking thing, the way he would command that crowd.
It's killer. And he would like literally go beside stage when we were playing on the second stage almost every day. Wow. It was kind of crazy.
That's rad.
He'd ride his like, he had like this mountain bike, and it just was weird because I'm like, that's Dave Draymond riding a mountain bike in leather pants.
Lo and behold, your friends from Huntington Beach carried a trailer with Harleys in
Harleys and beach cruisers in it.
And a gym. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, that's so
Was that
funny.
the year we had the mini crotch rockets? I think that was.
That was the first year they stuck around for a while.
We had those mini crotch rockets in ours. You guys had Harleys.
Well, it was Matt and Brian.
Yeah.
It was Matt and Brian that went out and got choppers. Because OC choppers was a big fucking thing.
Yeah.
And they went out and got them custom-made choppers. They rode them for a while, and that was the end of the story.
Shit. Short-lived.
We did a couple of covers with motorcycles. I've never been on a motorcycle my entire life.
They put it off like they're like this biker gang.
It was so fucking funny. I mean, people can go back and see the Metal Hammer like fucking cover with us.
God, I love it.
Like fucking, I'm wearing an Ed Hardy hat. Matt's got some fucking chains. We got makeup on. We're standing next to a motorcycle, and I'm just like, this is one of the us as people. That was very much us. We did several photo shoots like that. But in front of bikes at that time, it was like couldn't be further from who we were.
And it looked like it was who you were. You know what I mean? Like Avenged Sevenfold was supposed to ride motorcycles to shows.
I guess so.
But I mean, it was
that was like the Road Warriors.
Here's the thing: it's like
Legion of Doom coming in.
It's like the Crimson Ghost, right?
Right.
Like your guys' logo is a fucking iconic logo. Anything that's like that people can fucking put on the back of a jacket automatically makes you a biker gang.
Yeah,
it just does.
I'm okay with it. I just found it very funny because, I mean, it was like literally, I think they had those choppers for a year maybe. Rode them in. They did go out on them a couple times on that Ozzfest and took them around because you're in the open road out there in those festival cities. It's pretty cool. But
that is cool. Well, you need a little bit of an escape.
Yeah.
We played cool areas though. Like you play so many places that are next to like casinos and shit.
Oh, that's what I think. Dude, I learned later, so I didn't get on a motorcycle. I got on an electric bike later.
Yeah.
When we do the same spots. Because, I mean, the first few times I didn't realize, I was like, wow, this is a new spot. This is crazy. And then you realize when you go back and start playing them again for a different festival and then like a different just show, you're in the same spot and you're like, oh, okay, so it's like this is where everyone goes.
Yeah, for real.
At first, it's funny though. I don't know if you ever experienced that. Like when you first got there, you're like, wow, this place is magical. Wow, how did they put on a concert here? And then you're like, oh no, this is a concert venue.
Oh, it's a concert venue. I get it now. All right, cool.
It sounds so stupid to say it out loud now, but that was literally what's going through my head.
Dude.
But yeah, so going back to Oz, again, the dudes in Disturbed couldn't say it.
They're literally it was funny.
And I get it
another,
too, because
another
at the
story.
At the time before you, I get why you would be like.
I was elitist as fuck, dude.
We all were. I wasn't a big Disturbed fan. I don't think it was until right before we did that tour and they did like I think it was the Believe record. And they had like these smash choruses on it. And I was like, oh my God.
What was cool about that tour though is like System headlined, right?
Yep.
And like I'm a fan of like System of a Down. Like I like a lot of their stuff and they've been very influential, but like I just didn't feel like on that tour they had it. And maybe they didn't have it because Disturbed was so fucking good every night right before them.
I think there was factors involved.
I think there was friction between the band. I think that was the last time they toured as like,
knowing the guys now and understanding them a little bit, I mean, again, another great group of guys.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, fucking amazing and super influential.
I just felt like there was a weird thing going on with them on that
They've been
tour.
able to work out like you do as you know, as a band you grow. It's a family.
Yeah.
You know, you're creating a family when you create a band if you're going to do it for any length of time.
Fuck yeah.
And just like any other family, there's times when you might not want to speak to each other or whatever the case may be. I feel like that Ozzfest was one of the times where they were really coming to a head.
It seemed like it.
Yeah.
It really seemed like it. Even like mixing, every night they sounded different.
Yeah.
So it's like you feel like members of the band were like in like their ear, be like, no, turn me up.
Yeah, I think they weren't. I think there was a lack of communication. Yeah. It's definitely gotten completely different now.
But anyway, it goes back to Disturbed.
Right.
Best dudes. So we play an off day show with you guys in Denver. You guys Disturbed.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was that was fucking awesome.
I remember where we went after the show.
I wonder where we went after the show.
Denver 2006.
Denver 2006. Let's see. There's fine establishments there.
As the kids say, if you know, you know.
Yes. I remember Disturbed came up, we heard a knock on our bus, right? And we're like, who the fuck is that? And it's all of the members of Disturbed and like some of their crew, and they're holding like full handles of like alcohol, and they're like, we just want to say what's up. We want to come on the bus and have some drinks with you guys. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, none of us drink. And they have like full vodka, full like whatever you guys want.
Right, there was definitely a bottle. Knowing the guys, there was definitely a bottle of Jaeger in one.
There was Jaeger for sure.
Yeah,
we had a bottle of Jaeger in our bus and did not drink.
Yeah.
You had to have a bottle of Jaeger in your bus if you toured.
On Ozzfest.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember they came up and they did a shot with us and we like shot like what I don't even remember what we fucking shot, but it was cool. It was a cool moment.
Yeah.
And I remember Dave going like, how do you not drink? Like, I just don't, dude. I just don't do it. He's like, fuck, man. I don't know how to fucking do it. I'm like, you just do it. Right?
I mean,
it's something so stupid. How do you not drink?
How do you not put that in your body?
You just don't fucking do it.
There's also very many good reasons to not do it.
And then there's some reasons like now where it's fucking Tuesday and I got to go back to work and I'm drinking IPAs because it's my friend Johnny right here.
Yeah,
so cheers to
baby.
That.
Cheers. So let's get to that real quick. So he's asking you why you don't drink. Flash forward. We've covered a lot here. So we'll start to wrap it all back for the audience at home. 2013 rolls around, you decide?
I just, I was in a different place in my life. I was with my wife, Lindsay, before we were married, but we were like into our relationship at that time. She had no idea what straight edge was. She had no idea what Bleeding Through was when we met. Like, she had no idea. Like, the first time she saw us play, she was like, what the fuck was that?
I love that.
Dude, and that was like the coolest thing. Now she's our tour manager.
Oh,
and she's literally the best tour manager ever. It's like one of those things we always had that rule: no girlfriends, no wives, no boyfriends, no husbands. But it's like, I'm like, well, she cares just as much as us. That's the thing. And you want that. And she does such a great fucking job.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like, at that time, I was going through like a transition in my life, like coming out of a relationship with somebody, and then also a group of people that I was like involved with, like mainly all straight edge people. And I just felt like my life was going a different way. And relationships became like tarnished. And that had no real, like, it wasn't like, okay, well, I'm not friends with straight edge people, so I'm going to go drink. It was more like, I think that was just a sign that my life was just taking a different direction. And I'm not the most balanced person. Like, if you ask like anybody who's known me, like when I go, I go. Like I am like, shoot me out of a fucking cannon, I'm gone. You know what I mean? But I'm also like, I just felt like it was a time where like I can control that and have a drink and smoke weed and fucking experiment with whatever the fuck.
I don't mean to cut you off again, but was it weed first?
Weed first.
Weed first.
Weed first. I've never been the biggest drinking fan.
Yeah.
I do it because once you start doing it, you realize that you're stuck.
Wait, what?
You realize you're stuck.
You just
okay.
I got a beer in his hand.
Here's the thing. Once you start doing this, you realize you're stuck, because then you start going, everywhere you go revolves around this right here.
That's not entirely, it can be. It can be.
Okay. When you go eat, do you get a drink?
I do, but not every time. No, I've gotten better about that.
Fucking better than me then.
No, I'm not. Okay, you took time off.
Okay.
I'm a little bit more experienced than you.
Okay. So like, when it becomes like a going out ritual is what I mean.
Yeah.
It's hard to break away
it's
from
habitual.
It. So it's like
habitual.
you go into it and then you got to find balance. Finding balance is the reason. Wow, we're having such a. This is like an after school commercial.
Let's go.
So like, I just kind of realized that like, if you could fucking like hang and be chill, like fuck it, whatever, man. And I started looking at it just differently. Like, it wasn't ruining my lives. Yes, it ruins lives, but fuck, straight edge ruins the people's lives.
That's not.
It helps people. It keeps people from. I think a lot of times I've met a lot of people that are very like are still straight edge, and fucking all the respect in the world, because like I respect that shit so much. Like I'm, it just wasn't in me anymore, and I've always been that person to be like, if I don't 100% believe in it, like I don't want to fucking be a fake.
Right.
Like I don't want to fake it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's commendable.
But I've also seen it like hold people back.
Shelter it a little bit. You're kind of I think what we talked about maybe like 2 hours ago at the beginning of this thing, but it was like that perspective of like an experiencing life.
Dude,
we didn't actually say that, but we're talking.
I put a wall up. I saw what life was about. A lot of life was like on the other side of the wall.
It's not all pretty.
It's not all pretty. It has its fun, but it also has its downside. But I put that wall up. It wasn't until and like, dude, even saying this, where I've toured with like crazy fucking bands, like you guys are the most responsible partying band I've ever toured with. You are.
That's surprising.
Hold on, I don't know if I need to walk back this statement.
Wait.
Well.
Wait, are you talking about how we're responsible?
Jimmy could fucking. Yeah. Jimmy could go. Could go.
Do we give that impression now,
no,
or because it wasn't then? No, we always put things forward.
You guys were always so. You had each other's back so hard back in the day. Even Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to talk. No, come on. That dude is my fucking dude. I love that dude to death. Miss him to death. Cheers to fucking Jimmy. Fuck yeah.
Fucking A.
No one like, no one sense.
Won't ever be.
It was just like, I've realized that like there's certain people that I know in my life that just haven't experienced anything. And I get it, because like, yeah, I was around these crazy partying bands for so long, but like, it wasn't until like, I like actually started to like drink and like smoke weed where I saw like other parts of like what people do. And I'm like, it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Wait, people do this? Like people smoke weed like every day. That's weird. And now I smoke weed like every fucking day.
That is California living.
We call it California sober, so for a reason.
Yeah, I just had Bobby Schieppati. He's California sober. So right now, I got you yesterday.
Bobby's great.
Yeah, you know Bobby.
He was our roadie for a couple of years. He's great.
Yeah, dude. Him coming up, his story's so good. It's so good. Him
you
coming up doing like merch.
I'm similar to him, where I feel like my whole life has been me putting the energy into the world of what I want. And I feel like I've willed everything into existence. I truly feel like that. But I also feel like it's hard work. You got to put the work in. But dude, like, if you want something and it's on the forefront of your mind, it's going to fucking happen.
You're going to keep working at it.
You got to have to keep working in it. It's got to be an obsession. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the old adage that I learned watching sports, basically, from, I think, Max Kellerman. Actually, I know. It was Max Kellerman is the first time I heard it, and I was like, I want to adopt that because it made perfect sense to me. It's luck is the residue of the ready. So you have to, what that pointing to is, yes, opportunities are lucky.
You got to put yourself in that position to be lucky, though.
Yeah, exactly.
If you just sit around, you're not going to do anything. And that kind of goes around with like where I can go full circle to like where our band started. I feel like where we had the advantage was that everything was so far away from us, like the epicenter of what we wanted. And we felt so isolated. So we focused on our area and made so much noise that put us in the position to receive some luck.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly right.
I feel like that is 100%, and that was work ethic.
Yeah.
And I feel like it goes back to even roots before, like early punk bands in Orange County. Fucking no doubt.
Yeah.
Like what Gwen did in her whole fucking career. Like, kidding me? Like, she'd play Old World in fucking Huntington Beach.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right down the street.
And it's like, to see where like Social Distortion.
Yep.
Loyal to their roots, hard work, fucking go for it, right? Like that was the shit that like I would see.
It's just so cool now that they like, so they grew up playing around here, and then it's like now they're on the beach with the festivals that are going on, and I'm like, this is so weird and cool,
dude.
And I remember like the first time, no doubt. Do you remember when they played? I think it was '96, the Open.
Bro, don't even.
You remember the Open?
I'm gonna finish the whole thing at Triangle Square.
No, on the beach at the Open.
I got another story about No Doubt.
At the Vans U.S. Open.
Shit, I got another story about No Doubt. It's the same story about Green Day. You want me to go into this story? Cool.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm just gonna ramble on. All right, so I grew up in Newport Beach, Costa Mesa Newport Mesa area. Switched back and forth to Newport and Costa Mesa where I lived because of district lines or whatever.
It's
literally the same fucking city. Yeah. Triangle Square used to have Virgin Megastore, right?
Yeah.
And I remember walking back from school one day, and I lived a block up on Broadway from Triangle Square. So I could see, it was right there. And I remember one day like being like, oh fuck, like I hear a band playing outside, that's weird. And I cruise over there with like my friend that lived like a couple blocks over. And we cruise over there, and I'm like fucking, fuck. I don't even know, man. I'm so young, like 14 maybe?
Sounds about right.
And Green Day's playing in the fucking courtyard.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I'm like, oh fuck, and they were there because of Dookie. And I'm like, that was the first time I ever saw Green Day. And it's like, I stumbled upon it. And it's like, fast forward, this band's the biggest band on the planet. And then like a month later, No Doubt played the same area. And I already knew No Doubt at the time, but I remember like walking over and being like, this is No Doubt. And they're like right there, like holy fucking shit.
Yeah, we knew it, No Doubt, from being in Anaheim and creating that. Yeah. They had all the ska records before. And then Tragic Kingdom came out, and they were still playing the circuit around here.
Yeah.
And that was like insane.
Fucking
like
insane.
In '96, they were on the beach. There's pictures of it. Like, and it's right there by the fucking pier. The U.S. Open, that used to be called, I think it's called something different now, surf competition.
Yeah, it's still the U.S. Open of surf.
Okay, maybe it was the OP Pro.
It was called the OP Pro.
It was called the OP Pro. I knew there was a different name.
Old.
No, I call that fucking legendary. We were
Legend status. OP Pro.
OP Pro, baby. They had fucking They used to have bands, remember?
Oh,
they used to have
fuck yeah, I
bands.
remember,
And they tried it a few times, and they went too big, and it ended up with riots a few years back. But back in the day, it was always smaller, alternative bands. You had skate parks and surfing going on, and which I still maintain a lot of that, which is awesome. Anyways, No Doubt's down there, and like literally weeks later, I remember seeing the music video for Spiderwebs.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that was the same.
Yeah.
That was the same band that was just there.
It just fucking blew the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's crazy as fuck. But like, dude, like I look at that as like inspiration. Shit like that's like inspiration.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
We came from, we've, again, the fortunate part for, to bring it all home again. We're very fortunate. We know that.
Very fortunate.
We've lived some crazy fun lives and crossed paths many times on them.
Yeah.
And it's been great to continue to cross paths with you, my
Cheers to
friend.
that, dude. Hell yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited we finally did this, and it made sense, and it came organically in a meeting.
Fuck yeah.
I think that's the only way it ever could have happened, right?
I have a funny Avenged Sevenfold story.
Let's
Okay. Not funny, actually. Not funny, actually, at all. I don't know why I said funny. It's just I have to let you know this because I've never told anybody in your band this. So we were on tour after 06 Ozzfest. Mm-hmm. We just confirmed 3 months with you guys. We were going to do Japan, Australia, Europe, US.
Okay.
Okay. So we're on tour with Unearth after Ozzfest, 2 months after Ozzfest, right? And the tour for some reason was just weird. It was like us, Unearth, Terror, like a big fucking bill. It was great, but it just kind of was like the rooms were too big. We were kind of like shooting a little bit too. We were shooting our shot a little bit too heavy.
Yeah, it felt pretty good.
We were playing big fucking places. Like Slipknot wasn't selling out. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Okay. So maybe we shot our shot a little bit too high. So we're like, oh fuck. Well, at least at least we got that Avenged shit coming up, right? Fuck. And I remember like talking about like almost every day. I can't fucking wait. Oh my god. And it's like, because you guys were coming off that Ozzfest, like right. Fucking shit was just, it was just like, every day was like how much, I hate to say it, like it sounds so weird, but every day was kind of like, almost like, how much bigger can we get? In a humble way.
Oh, no.
It was kind of like.
It was what we were working for.
It's what you were working for.
I'm not going to sit here and not say.
Like, what step forward is going to happen today?
I'm not going to sit here and say, right now, in my stage of my life, having the advantage of hindsight and everything that happened afterward, I'm still not going to take away from what we were trying to do. We were not pulling punches and not telling anyone any different. God, we wanted everything.
Do you know how many fucking interviews I've done over this? I'm so glad I get to say that.
Yeah, it's just, no.
I did so many interviews of, what do you think about Avenged Sevenfold? I'm like, this is what they fucking wanted.
This is what we've always wanted. This is what we always try to do. The goal has always been in mind.
Yeah.
The fact is...
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was every day, and we were doing the same thing. We were going like, all right, wake up every morning and like,
what's today?
What's today?
Oh shit, we sold out this fucking arena today. Like, what?
But in that, I want to point out that in that we said we didn't just go like we've got it. Mm-hmm. We said, cool. What are we gonna do to make that day make the best out of it?
No, dude, you guys listen. If anybody ever questions this band about their work ethic, like there is no fucking question. Keep in mind, it's like this. We live in Southern California. It's beautiful, yes, but it's fucking hard to fucking live here. And if you don't work, you're not going to live here.
Right.
You got to work your ass off to fucking exist and to make it here. And it was one of those,
so going back to
we're on this tour, and it's doing good numbers, but it's not feeling good because the rooms are too like big, and everyone's in bad spirits, and all the bands, none of the bands are hanging out. And I'm like, fuck, man. So we're in Denver, and we're setting up. Like, we're about 40 minutes from stage time. And I get a call from our manager at the time. And he goes, I have bad news. And I go, fuck, what else could happen right now? And he goes, Jimmy's going to rehab. Or they got to take Jimmy off the road. And they're postponing those tours. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I said, oh, fuck, for a second. And then immediately went to fuck, is Jimmy good? And it was after, I think it was after the MTV.
Yeah, it was after
awards.
All that stuff. So that was before we went into.
It was necessary.
Self-titled. It was before we went into self-titled, when we were writing self-titled.
Yes. So it was necessary at the time. And I remember Downey telling me, and I'm just like, fuck. We were just putting so much hope into this tour, right? And I remember being destroyed. And because I just really wanted to tour with you guys. The thing is, we've known you guys we've been friends for so long, but we've never done a proper full tour with you guys. You know what I mean? Just back in the day, we've done so many shows,
so many shows
proper
together.
tour.
Yeah,
you know, and it's so it was fuck, man, that fucking sucks, but totally fucking get it, right? And so I'm just bummed out. Get a text from our tour manager, and he goes, stage time, 5 minutes, get on stage. I go on stage, I'm bummed out. Band doesn't even know yet, right? So I go on stage, our intro's playing, and I walk out. There's no mic. Our stage tech didn't set up my mic.
What?
So the fucking sample cuts, and it's just dead space, and I'm like, I don't have a fucking microphone right now. So our stage tech's scrambling around, and he just grabs the mic and he gives it to me, and I just I sigh, and I just go, you know, when it rains, it fucking pours, right? And I just remember after that being like, that was a big turning point for this band, because I remember just saying to myself, like, no matter what, just be appreciative of where you're at the moment, and be good with where you're at the moment. Because I was so looking forward and I was so broken about it, but at the end of the day, I mean, that lasted for a couple hours. And then I was like, immediately like, is he good? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the story. I don't think I've told anybody in your band that. You basically ruined our life.
No, it sounds like actually, no. I took away from it that we actually got you to that point, though.
No, you did.
Like where you were, yeah.
I feel like I needed that as a musician, as somebody like in a band, to realize that like you can have hopes for whatever, but really you need to focus on what you have at the time and who's around you, and focus on that.
And I think that is something that definitely came from the profession.
Yeah.
But that's something I guarantee you take into life now. I mean, not from that specific thing. I'm not trying to fucking say that. I'm saying that everyone can.
Yeah,
like
sure.
that's the idea. You know what I mean? Like, grass is always greener. Don't take for granted what you have. Old adages everyone's fucking heard.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Yeah.
People before us have thought this stuff through too.
Yeah,
we're not the first human beings to be on this planet.
I was just so wrecked on stage, and I think the microphone not being there for me actually knocked me down.
Yeah.
Because I was so mad, and I'm like, if I had a microphone in my hand at the time, I don't know what I would have done. Yeah. Like, I was so like, fuck the world, like everything's against us, and I feel like that let me sit back and be like, you know what, shit happens for a reason. Just be happy to where you're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? But fuck. It would have been fun.
It would have been a fucking blast. Would have been a fucking blast. I could guarantee that. You know, that, yeah. And, you know, as we're sitting here joking around about drinks and everything, I think it's an opportunity to talk about that a little bit. You know, you were straight edge for 20 years. You talked about, there's a lot of cons in this, of course. I think everybody knows that. I'm not teaching anyone anything new.
No, this is not an after school special.
No. However, I just want to point out, you know, if you're younger at home and you're watching this, please take the inspiration, not the fucking things that we're
for sure.
doing, you know?
Yeah.
And, man, I guess that's kind of a note to end on. We'll talk a little bit more about 2024 for you to wrap it all up.
Okay.
Everyone go follow Bleeding Through and Brandon.
Follow Rise Above Fitness, too.
Rise Above Fitness. I gotta get in there a couple times.
Very good trainer, and you can listen to heavy music.
Are you very hands-on? You got some other trainers working with you over there?
I'm basically one of the only dudes there, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I've just kind of learned, like, through my career of being a trainer, like, one of the things I'm really good at is managing programs and multiple people on the floor at once.
Dude.
That goes from years of just like coaching high school football and shit like that.
So, I'm so sorry that I'm about to say goodbye, but now I'm like, coaching high school football.
I coached high school football.
Which high school?
For fucking, let's see, 3 high schools. For 6 years, I was involved in strength and conditioning for high school football.
Okay.
I started at Servite.
Servite.
No, don't even. I love my time at Servite. I am always a man of Servite.
I'm not saying anything bad, but it was the juggernaut.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
So
that was always the juggernaut.
That was where my first opportunity was, and it was kind of like, fuck, man. I remember beating them like when I was in high school at Newport Harbor, like beating them in championship game.
Okay, he just named 2 of the ones. Like, okay.
I went to Newport Harbor.
Newport Harbor, one of the football teams around here that was
we were a powerhouse back in the day.
Powerhouse.
Yeah.
Servite was a powerhouse.
Servite was a powerhouse. So so my first coaching job opportunity came with Servite, and I didn't really know nothing of it. And it's an all boys Catholic school. For those that don't know, it is part of the Trinity League, which is the top ranked high school conference in America. Modern day St. John Bosco or Orange Lutheran are in it. It's basically college level in high school.
Right.
And I got a job there, and it was so intense, and it pulls you in, and it was amazing. I loved it. Like, there's nothing about it that I didn't love. Like, I loved the brotherhood. I'm not a religious person. I'm very conflicted. Like, I am like Jewish, Catholic, Christian, like everything. Like, I have parts of that in my life. You know what I mean?
There's beauty in all religion.
Totally.
I actually had this thought the other day, like, just to like fucking, you know, really go off on a tangent here. I think all beliefs can be beautiful.
Fuck yeah.
none of us really know which one it is. We all got these different gods and these different beliefs. Can we all just celebrate that we like want to be better people?
Exactly.
And I believe in creationism. I'm getting closer to that. I was a little bit more agnostic, a little bit more atheist before, but there's too much that is mathematical.
I'm like a faith is a feeling person.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like,
I can vibe with that.
I feel with it, you know what I mean? But anyway, back to coaching. So 3 years at Servite, 3 years at Los Alamitos. I went from Servite,
Let's get to the fucking important shit.
Let's get to the important shit of football.
Fucking Friday Night Lights.
We're talking about football here. All right. So you're talking about football. We're going to be here for 19 hours, okay? So on tour with 18 Visions, 19 hours.
That got me.
So I was there for 3 years at Servite, loved it. Moved on from there to Los Alamitos High School, which is another like Orange County powerhouse public school. Got to work with a legendary coach and Coach Barnes. He became a mentor for me. I learned a lot about managing life through him. And I saw my time as coaching as like life lessons, right?
Right.
Like just about teamwork and camaraderie, and I think that made me actually love being in a band more, you know? And that was all during times where I wasn't like really active in the band. We took a hiatus when I was like a coach, you know what I mean? And then when I came back, I feel like that's why I love it so much. And then after I was at Los Alamitos, I went to Costa Mesa High School for a couple years. And then it was kind of like Bleeding Through came back, and it was like I didn't have time to coach.
Right.
I had to choose between football and Bleeding Through.
Just Bleeding Through.
It's a tough fucking, that's a tough
Tough decision.
It's a tough decision.
Well, we're all glad because we get a full 25 years of Bleeding Through.
Yeah, we
got
do.
a new record coming out, 9.
New record called 9.
We may or may not have a hologram on it.
I feel like we should.
Dude, a 9 with the head shaking.
With the head shake like this?
It's
Like,
really
no.
not a bad idea. Like,
Yeah.
if you can pull it off, I think it's brilliant.
What if it's like the 6 of us, like the Brady Bunch, like in 2 different columns, 6, I mean, that'd be 9 people. Do you want to just sit in on one of the pictures?
Sure.
So we need 9. We need 9 pictures and just all the holograms of people shaking their head. No.
No.
Fuck, man.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. This is
man.
good stuff.
This is good.
Hanging with you, brother.
Love
Really
hanging with you.
appreciate you. I'm glad we
Listen,
got to do this.
Your
man.
band, we're friends, but your band's a shit. You fucking inspire the fuck out of a lot of people, and you inspire the fuck out of us. I know you inspire the fuck out of other bands that come from here. You are the fucking leaders of this shit. You gotta know that.
Dude,
I make Matt feel uncomfortable with this shit all the time.
you just made me feel really uncomfortable with
But I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but like for real. Like,
Well,
look
like
where
we
right
said
now.
though,
We've gotten
there's a lot
to
of
like
stuff.
do exactly what we've wanted to do by playing just the music that we want to play.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it's the best.
It really is.
I think we get uncomfortable because we can't take credit for it.
Yeah.
It's been going on in Orange County for a long time. And we wouldn't be who we are without you guys. Like that's.
I think
the
we all just
reality.
kind of make each other work.
And sometimes that's what it takes. And the stars have to align. And
They do. I have an idea. Can we do a show where, how do
in
we
Orange
make,
County, I know where you're going.
well, I want to do, this is Orange County Fest. Which is
This is Orange County Fest would be fucking sick.
Okay, but maybe we could just do something that's like a preempt to that. I feel Avenged Sevenfold needs to play a show on Main Street. Okay? I think you need to set up a stage and then the people just go down Main Street. You are like the one Huntington Beach band that I feel is like the most Huntington Beach.
We're pretty Huntington Beach.
You're pretty fucking Huntington Beach. Downtown, Main Street, outside, people lined up down the fucking street like it's the NFL draft in fucking
Where would you set
Nashville.
the stage? Like at the base of the pier?
Yeah. And you block that out.
We might need to talk to a couple of people.
Wouldn't that be dope? Like
I
no
think
one's
it would
played
be
Huntington
fun.
like that.
Like I said, the last time I think of a gigantic, I mean, they're like.
I'll help as long as we're on the show.
I think this guy's got a good idea.
But dude, like, how dope would that be? Like, you're playing Main Street, Huntington.
Dude, you know how it was.
And you could even put the stage like right where like Starbucks is there, like right at the cap right there, and have like the crowd just go straight down the street like that.
I mean, you're not talking crazy.
I don't feel like it's crazy.
I don't think you're talking crazy. I do think that, like, so I will say on this, we know the promoters obviously that have been doing the festivals here. Yeah, Pumpkin Trubbock was like one of the first ones that did it on the north side of Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
And then you know, for those at home, it's like this 3-mile stretch of the beach that's Huntington, and it's, for what I hear, it's like the biggest stretch that you can do stuff like this on.
Because it's a public land. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Exactly. So festivals have been starting to pop up. Those didn't happen when we were kids growing up.
No.
They did not happen.
No.
And it took Huntington Beach people, locals, like Sean Akavon, one of my very best fucking friends, who brought this kind of shit to us.
I love you, Sean.
Yes. And so I've seen a lot of this stuff now, and
Maybe me and Sean do it. I'll put some shit behind it.
I guarantee you, knowing Sean, he's already been thinking about stuff like this.
I just feel like you guys, like the end of Main Street, like fucking Avenged, like in Huntington, like all the stores.
The way that you're
legendary
is not
stores
putting it on the
side.
beach. My point was, I'd go down and I watched
No, it needs to be
my
on the
favorite
street.
bands. I watched Bad Religion. I watched Pennywise.
know.
I watched NoFX. I watched Offspring. Lives right around the corner. All on the beach, and I was like, this would be so cool to leave my house as the dressing room.
That's what I'm fucking saying.
This would be my dressing room.
But I'm saying take it off the beach and put it in the street.
I agree. I agree that
more
would be a
Avenged
different
right
look.
there, I
That would
feel
be a
like.
different look.
Shit.
This guy's got it all.
Shit.
This guy's got it all. All right, well, we're going to have to stop the cameras
Okay.
now to really talk about this, because you gave a bunch of people in trouble and shit.
But yeah, dude, thank you for this. This is
Thank you
fucking
so
dope.
much. Everyone go check out more.
And we're going to watch WrestleMania in a couple weeks.
Yes. Yeah, when we get back. When you get back from those North American tours, or shows rather, in Portland and Seattle.
Portland,
everyone
Seattle.
can go back.
End of March.
It probably still smells like Avenged, Sevenfold, and Bleeding Through. So.
It probably does. We're going to pick up where we left off.
So fucking cool.
Yep.
Such a great hang, man. I'll see you later on this week, too.
Yeah, probably.
Cheers,
Okay.
everybody. Thanks
Cheers.
for checking us
Thank
out.
you.
We'll see you next time, as always. Cheers.